2, 1.
Hi guys, welcome to episode 9 of Bantersation. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jay, and joining me today as usual is Cap.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And Dan.
Hello.
And we have got the king of Fresh Bill Friday. He puts the vape in Daily Vape TV, Nick Bissett.
Way!
We got there eventually. How we doing, Nick?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. So, being our guest today, obviously, we know who you are. The listeners and the viewers won't know who you are, but you are quite big on YouTube. You're a vape dude, vape god maybe. But yeah, so today we're here talking about vaping. Not just vaping, but other things in general as well. So, how's everybody's week been? Dan?
You know, there's nothing I can add on to previous episodes. It's just me. I'm me. I do nothing. So yeah. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
But have you been watching UFC lately? Since you're sporting some UFC London.
No, I went to UFC London 2 years ago and got this there. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
T-shirt.
There's a dude from Arkansas that's fighting in the UFC.
Thug Nasty.
Yeah.
I can't remember his real name. Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah, he's from Little Rock.
Yeah, he had to like take quite a big break at one point because he was like power drilling something. And
Yeah.
got tangled in his boxer shorts and like ripped his nutsack apart.
Why do you pay so much attention to other men's balls?
Well, I mean, he watches them cuddle in the fucking...
It was just a news line. Bryce Mitchell out due to nutsack-related injury.
It said nutsack-related injury.
Well, it may not have said those words, but it said he tore his scrotum in half, basically.
So the crazy thing is, he's not the only other person that I've known, like from Arkansas, to actually get like his nuts ripped open and shit. Like there was a guy I went to high school who had barbed wire, like in a barbed wire accident, that went through his pants and shredded his shit up, and like he lost a testicle. Like
Shit.
Yeah, like I don't know if it was left or right, but either one.
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter.
Oh my god,
Man.
As long as it was the one that hung slightly lower.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? Maybe that one has now made up, taken up the slack and started hanging low.
Taking up the slack. Oh shit! Is that your bag of Revels?
Yeah.
Hardly anything in them.
You know what pissed me off about that bag of Revels as well? They were all orange.
Was they really?
90% orange. What is there? Like raisin, nougat, like Malteser type one?
What the fuck's nougat?
Or Americans call nougat.
You mean nugget?
Nougat.
No, it's nougat.
Nugget.
It's
It's
nougat.
nugget.
It's French. It's nougat.
It's
Nougat.
Yeah.
As opposed to Olga. Come on, mate. It's nugget.
It's nougat.
It's nougat.
Nougat.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Nougat
You guys are the king of the
nugget.
U's. You have U's in everything, and you don't pronounce it in nougat.
It's
Yeah, we're
nugget.
supposed to say nougat, but Jay's just a bit of an idiot. So.
I've never heard it nougat. Fucking, oh yeah, study good. I opened up a bag of Rebels and there was a nougat in there.
That's because you're a bloody commoner. That's why.
It's just a
God,
chav.
mate. Shut up, man.
Exactly.
What's wrong with you?
Just a massive commoner.
Anyway, moving swiftly on. Cap, you've always got an interesting story to tell us about how your week is.
Don't let us down now.
Oh, okay.
Pressure's not on.
So like previously I had talked about like my wife and I buying a business, and so we finally signed the contract for it. So like December 1st we're starting that. And but the crazy thing is, and I was just scrolling through my feed today and I saw this meme of some, like, for some reason, this is a small town. Like, there's no reason this town should be like memed at all, except for like one reason. And so like I saw it and I screenshot it and sent it to my wife, and I was like, holy shit, darling, look at this. And the meme says like, how did you like your time in Lanigan, Missouri? And it was like, Nick, have you ever seen Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
So it's Tom from Parks and Rec at the bottom, and it's like, oh, I saw meth in vending machines, and it's a bad place. And the real funny thing is the first time I drove through the town with my wife, I went, darling, you can get meth from that building. You can probably get meth from that building, and oh wait, probably even that building. And so like it was funny that was the first reaction and the first meme that I saw about it. But anyways, good news that we got the business.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's basically been my week. So yeah.
What worries me the most is how you know what buildings you can get meth from. That kind of worries me.
They just
been there before.
like when you're in the opioid crisis in the Mid-South, you usually see, the kind of areas that have those hardcore drugs because they're just run down. It's just terrible.
I suppose you can probably spot those sort of den type places where you're like, yeah, that definitely goes down there.
Queues of crackheads around the corner.
Especially like in the South.
Yellow smoke just pouring out of RVs.
Yeah. A dude coming out of his RV with just nothing but his Y-fronts on.
Oh,
some glasses and a revolver. But yeah, Jay, how's your week been, bud?
My week's been quite normal.
Quite normal.
Nothing unusual. Went to the cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ended up seeing a movie that we can't really get into details about.
Yeah. Watched Joker.
Oh yeah.
But that stops there.
It stops there. Okay.
That stops there. Spoilers. No, can't do no spoilers.
I haven't seen it. I'm going to see it tomorrow.
I have heard that it could be its own standalone movie, even if the universe didn't exist around it. It could be a good standalone.
It would make sense just by itself, though.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping for. Like, it doesn't need to be connected to anything as much as I'd want it to be, but I think it still could be one of those mind fuck of a movies that everybody just loves.
So I know you haven't seen the movie. I want to try and be touchy on what I say, be careful on what I say. But do you think, from what you've seen from like the trailers and stuff like that, and the style of movie that it is, do you think there is a way that it could be incorporated into the rest of the DC universe?
I mean,
because obviously you can't go from like something kind of lighthearted like Aquaman, and then bring that Joker into that world. Like, it just kind of wouldn't fit.
Yeah, I not with the modern DCEU. I don't think it would be. I don't think it could. But like, it would have to be like the beginning of something new, something else. Because James Gunn's Suicide Squad's different, even though they have some of the same actors, but also new actors. I don't quite understand.
Same Harley Quinn, no?
Yeah, same Harley Quinn, same Boomerang.
He was cool.
Captain Boomerang.
Captain Boomerang.
He's so funny. But yeah, no. I think it could, but it'd have to be something completely new. And Gal Gadot's great as Wonder Woman, so I don't know why they would want to replace her.
Jason Momoa is great as Aquaman.
Jason Momoa is great as Aquaman. He's also just a beautiful man in general. So
correct.
I mean, I can just see Jay dressing up as Aquaman and trying to be in the skin tight latex and
spandex.
You just paint abs on.
Yeah.
Jason, my man boobs.
Cheers, guys.
Oh.
For those of you that don't watch, for those of you that don't watch the videos, I am a little bit on the chunky side.
For those of you who don't watch the videos, I agree. Yeah.
If you don't watch the videos, he's also wearing a yellow shirt, so he's going to be SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Oh yes. SpongeBob the live action movie.
Oh shit. Anyway, moving on. Nick, how's your week been this week, fella?
Chaos, utter chaos, man.
Chaos.
Literally
on the street, and
almost. I mean,
feels like it's boiling over to that point.
Well, okay, so since we're going into this with no knowledge of who I am, since you have non-vapors listening, I'm a vape reviewer. I've been doing that for 5 years. I have also been vaping for 8 years. I work at a vape shop for about 5 years, and they have banned the sale of vaping products in my home state of Massachusetts. And my shop is on the border of Connecticut, which is the state directly underneath Massachusetts for anyone outside the country. So everyone from Massachusetts is coming down to my shop. It's literally 500 yards from the border and right off a major highway. So everyone has been going into my shop and getting their vapor products there. So yeah, we went from having, 100, 200 sales a day to 10 times that, thousands.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just imagine like pickup trucks coming across the border with people hiding in the back to come and buy their vape gear.
Yeah.
It's just mad.
So this week we had a young lady come in and said, I'm stocking up. What can you offer me? What can you do for me? And the boss is there. He said, come into the back. We have our bargain bin box that we fill the bargain bins with, which there's tons of juice in there. She sat in the back for 2 hours sorting through the entire box, and she picked out 50 bottles of juice, and she purchased 50 bottles of juice.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope she put them in alphabetical order for you, so you didn't have to sort them
She
out.
actually did. She actually did kind of organize them, and we kind of love her a little bit for that. She might have received a bit of a deal, pretty good discount.
So, for the viewers and the listeners that don't know, how really sore is the subject on vaping at the moment in the US, and how heavy is it going down?
Well, for any non-vapors out there that read the news, the headlines, Facebook, that are on Twitter, they might have been seeing these scary headlines saying that vaping is killing people. There's an epidemic of deaths related to vaping and e-cigarettes and all this, for the past 2 months or so. And the attitude towards vaping currently in this country is very negative. It's very, it's very edgy, because it's like, oh, you vape, oh, you're gonna die, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get that, and we're being talked down to by current smokers. I'm talking people smoking cigarettes, looking at me vaping, and going, oh, those will kill you.
Die.
Yeah.
Popcorn
the
lung,
thing.
even
Even if-
popcorn lung, yo.
Even if
Right.
6 people had died from vaping how we vape, it's still nothing. Even if that was the case.
And just to point something out here, we have been vaping for I've been personally vaping for 8 years. You guys have been vaping for a few years yourselves.
7 for
And
me.
there you go.
2.
So I mean, I guess they call it circumstantial evidence that it helps people quit smoking, but I think that there's overwhelming proof that it does. But the bottom line is, this epidemic just appeared within the past couple of months, and it hasn't appeared in the UK. So
How
is there
strange.
a
Or the rest of the
correlation? Right.
funny
Or
that,
the
isn't
rest
it?
of the world. Right.
See, the only I've seen a few things lately though of people putting on YouTube instructions on how to make the THC cartridges.
Really?
I literally
Wow.
saw an article about it today, about how there are tons of YouTubers and stuff that are like how to make them. So just because it's not yet does not mean that it will not happen. And that's what I'm saying. So we all have to be careful when it comes to stuff like that.
Right.
Shut that shit down real quick.
Because really what it is, it comes down to greed, because you can make your own THC cartridges all you want from distillated THC and cannabis, and you can make oil all you want, and it's safe, and you can do that at home. There are ways of doing it. But the problem here is that it's cut. The pure oil is cut with vitamin E oil and MCT oil, which is causing basically, I think it's called lipoid pneumonia, where it's literally oil in your lungs. It's oil. MCT oil is coconut oil.
Mhm.
You're not supposed to vaporize coconut oil, because what you do when you vaporize anything is it makes it into tiny particles, and you inhale those particles and they reform. If there's any vapors listening or watching, you know that, when it's cold out, you get some film on your windows, in the wintertime, and you have to clean that off. That's literally the VG coating your windows, and that's just, it happens over time. So with that, that same thing happens with the oil that these people are cutting into the pure distillated THC oil, and they're filling cartridges with it and selling it on the black market.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
But the
where
thing is, because the thing is, your body can deal with and break down the VG, whereas the oil, the vitamin C, and the coconut oil forms again as a solid structure and blocks.
Right. Every ingredient in e-liquid is water soluble. So when you breathe in condensation, like air that has moisture in it, it will automatically break down anything in your lungs, and then you just exhale it. So obviously oil isn't water soluble. So the water goes into your lungs, and then you just nothing happens, and you exhale it, and you can't get the oil out of your lungs. That's why this is happening.
You can do that experiment with like half a glass of water, and then pour oil on top of that. Like they won't mix; it won't
mix at all.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you pour e-liquid into water and swirl it around, it'll eventually dissipate into the water.
Amalgamates into one liquid.
Right.
No separation.
Right. Exactly.
I've with the media and they're representing and stuff. My news sources that I usually follow are like NBC, NPR, and stuff like that. And normally they elaborate on the THC, that it's illegal THC stuff. So like they're getting it, but like there also have been these other deaths. They'll like play
it's almost as a side note. Sometimes it's like vaping, while generally safe, there's been some blah 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 deaths.
So they say what it is, because I mean I send these articles to Dan all the time, regardless if he reads them or not.
Most of the time I don't. They're all the same.
I figured. I figured you're just like, it's whatever. It's not my problem. I'm in the UK.
No, it's just they're all the same. Every mainstream media. Like people dying.
Okay.
It's up to like 18 now or like 13 now.
And there's like almost, I think they said either almost 1,000 or over 1,000, but of illnesses. But
yeah,
regardless, I've been paying very close attention to NPR and Twitter, and their early reportings said just vaping.
Yeah.
Without any mention of THC, without any mention of anything else, they said vaping. And that's really what's annoying to me, because it's blanketing a term and it's just throwing it over the whole thing, anything vapable. And in a lot of cases, they're trying to blame Juul. They're trying to blame the major player in the game, Juul, which I feel like most politicians and most news outlets don't know the difference. They don't know the difference between a Juul and what we do with our open systems, the refillable systems.
Juul is just a very recognizable name for non-vapors or people
it's
not
at every
in the industry.
I don't know about like the north where you live, Nick, but like in the south, they're at every gas station. You can buy them at every gas station. I mean, they just have them, tons of them behind the counter. There's stickers on the windows.
Juul makes up about 75%, maybe even more, of the vaping market as a whole.
Yeah, so they're basically like a monopoly.
It's
huge.
Monopoly.
In terms of what products sold or what?
Just the size of the company. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. It's partly owned by Big Tobacco. Altria bought 35% stake in it for $17 billion.
Holy shit.
So is that what makes it is that what you're saying is the largest? I thought you were saying in terms of consumers.
I mean, but that's the thing. They also have the sales numbers to back that up as well.
I suppose when they're in every gas station nationwide, more or less,
their marketing campaigns are unbelievable. You know, they've got probably the biggest budget.
Right. They have TV ads.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is there restrictions? I'm not sure. Is there restrictions on us for vape product advertisements? Apart from, I know they're not allowed on TV, but
what, in the UK?
Yeah.
So you're not. There is very strict and stringent with the TPD.
You can't make health claims.
But the only adverts I ever see for vape products, whether it be on the side of a bus or on just a poster or a bus stop or whatever it is, they're always Juul. There's never anything else, any other company.
Well, we used to see a bit of Vibe and My Blue.
Yeah. But they're all the big tobacco ones, obviously, because that's where the money is. But
Yeah, but they can afford to take a hit if they do something like that. They can go to court. Like they can pay £1 million marketing program. Oh, you're not allowed to do that. Here's an 80 grand fine. Nothing.
The thing is,
Here's the 80 grand.
We've reached the target we needed to reach, sort of thing. No, they'll take that as a pinch of salt.
Yeah, we've just made $1 million from that ad. So here's your 80 grand.
Yeah, well, they also have the money for legislation too. So I mean, they can lobby like nobody's fucking business.
Mhm.
Throw that money around at some politicians. Oh, here, I'll sign this bill that you made, and not legislators, and they'll just do that.
Really what Juul is doing currently is basically laying down on their back and going, please, FDA, regulate us because we'll survive and no one else will.
Mhm.
They're kind of
We have big tobacco money in our
going
pockets.
off. Yeah, well, they have big tobacco money in their pockets. They have 75% of the entire marketplace is Juul. So they could care less about us. They don't care about us. They lobby for them. They are for Tobacco 21. They are for flavor bans. They voluntarily pulled their flavors off the market, and they're just literally just trying to look like the best people. They're, oh, well, we're doing our best to prevent kids from getting their hands on this, and we put limits on how many packs of pods you can buy and how many devices you can buy, blah, blah, blah. We use extremely strict age verification software on our website, and
They actually do, because I'm not going to lie. Obviously, I'm a vapor. For those of you that don't know, viewers and listeners, so Dan, myself, and Nick, we are all in the vaping industry, but Cap's not. So this is why it's an interesting thing, because Cap always, like, you know,
Somebody's outside of the industry, a different.
tries to prod us a little bit and say, hey, have you seen this? Have you seen that? You know,
because, like, I mean, for one, since I'm not in the industry, it's like me asking, no, I wouldn't say a politician, but somebody closer, like a representative or something. It's just like asking, you know, for things that, I mean, your knowledge that I don't have, obviously. So, but
and we encourage that as vapors. We encourage everyone to ask us questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really, I want to hear some of your questions, Cap, especially from a liberal point of view. You know, because obviously, like, liberals, in a lot of cases, want these protections. They want these laws to protect the general public from anything like what's happening to happen. But I would just want to explain the reasons why we don't want a lot of restrictions on our industry. So by all means, ask away. Anything you have to, you know, if you're curious about, please ask.
So, like, whenever I was in high school when vaping started being a big thing. Like, I remember the first cigarette that was the vaping cigarette. It looked exactly like one. Yeah.
Right.
Blue, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, they call those cigalikes because they look like cigarettes.
Yeah, okay, so yeah. And so, like, my cousin, who is younger than me, had like a full vape kit at like 16. So, like, and that's the first time that I was ever, like, really introduced and ever tried it at because I have tried it before just for fun, because, you know, why not? And so I feel like it's weird for kids to be like, not kids. I mean, I guess 16-year-old, now that I'm older, 16-year-olds are kids to me. So, like, I don't really know where the age that where it should, like, oh, you can start at this point. So, like, because, I mean, 18-year-olds are still immature, but the thing is, if you can, you know, die for your country, you should be able to, you know, vape or, you know, drink, but, you know, stuff like that. That's just one of those weird things. But, like, what age do you think would be appropriate for that? Because,
so that's a very good question. Across the country, Tobacco 21 is sweeping the nation.
Is that the bill that raises the tobacco age to 21 instead of 18?
Yes.
So
all
that
tobacco
passed in
products.
Arkansas. That passed here.
And it passed in Massachusetts, and it passed in Connecticut. So it's kind of just becoming a thing. It's going to become a thing nationwide. I'm telling you right now.
It's
by this time next year, Tobacco 21 is probably going to be nationwide. So in my opinion, I feel like it should be 19, because the reason I don't support 18 plus, like for tobacco products, is because a lot of times in high school, you turn 18. So an 18-year-old can legally come into my shop, or could, before Tobacco 21 hit Connecticut, they could come into my shop, buy a Juul, and then bring it to school the next day. And then the next day they could come back in and say, oh, I lost my Juul, I need another one, and buy another one. And then the next day it's a different employee, it's not me there, they buy another one. So they could end up getting their hands on like a dozen of these things and start handing them out or selling them.
Yeah.
So I feel like 19 is a good age, kind of in the middle. It's kind of splitting the difference between 18 and 21, so that you don't really take away the freedom and all that, because I do think that it should be available for younger people if they are already smoking. And obviously they say that the vaping is not used as a smoking cessation product. It's not an FDA approved smoking cessation product. And that is true. Because at the very beginning of vaping, when it first started becoming popular, they basically gave us a choice of this or that choice. You're either going to become a medical device, which you need a prescription by a doctor, or you're going to be tobacco. And well, we're like, well, we want something else. We want something in the middle, a reduced harm product, you know? But they didn't want to do that for us. Alternative, right. And so we went with the tobacco. So we were like, okay, well, regulate us like tobacco. And thus began the FDA's hand into the vapor industry. So my whole thing with 19 plus is that you are less likely to be 19 in high school. I mean, yes, there are some kids that are 19 that stay back and all that,
They're
but
less likely to be in the mix with 15, 16, 17-year-olds. Like.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that will severely limit who can get their hands on these products. And I think it should also be heavily limited to, like, all open systems should be limited to vape only shops, like just vape shops, not smoke shops, not head
100%.
shops.
So they don't need to be connected. Like, you can't be able to sell both of them. Then that's basically what it is.
Yeah, it's its own thing. It's not tobacco. You shouldn't need a prescription. But it is smoking cessation, but just in a different way. We have another special guest.
She's
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
no, it's all good.
Roommate's kid. Say hi.
Hello.
But yes, I think that 19 plus is a good age because it doesn't severely limit everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Would you say there's pros to 21, or maybe?
Yeah, I would definitely say there's pros to 21 because it just limits it more. But at the same time, anyone that's currently smoking that's trying to get off cigarettes is going to be limited to the pharmaceutical options.
Okay.
My whole thing with like, if smoking is going to be 21, I think that vaping should be 21, since vaping is the way to stop smoking. I almost think they're obviously, you know, it's like releasing the antidote with the poison. Kind of. That's a weird way to put it, and I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to make it sound bad or anything.
Just so everyone knows, the poison is the tobacco.
Poison is the tobacco.
But okay, so here's the thing: if you're gonna do one, you got to do the other. It's got to be fair,
Yeah.
right? And right now they're not playing fair because they're banning vaping and leaving smoking free to do what it's gonna do.
Well, like, everybody is like, they've passed the you can't smoke in buildings anymore, so they're less likely to be like seen, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you can't smoke in a building here, obviously. I don't know if you can smoke over there either. So, like, with me, I don't know. I just feel like they should go, like you said, hand in hand. Oh, but since they're not playing fair, obviously.
It's the same over here. Like, you're not allowed to. I think you can smoke at 16 over here, but you're not allowed to buy them until you're 18. Something like that. That's just crazy. But you're not allowed to smoke in public places. They even go as far as saying you're not allowed to smoke in, like, you know, like a work vehicle or anything like that.
Oh wow, like a company car.
Yeah, a company car. You're not meant to because it's a place of work. Like he's
It's the
supplied
same
by
over
what?
here. It's the
That's
same over here.
interesting.
Any commercial vehicle you're not allowed to smoke technically or vape in.
Yeah.
Wow. That seems
But-
strange.
But like over here, like there's a lot of misconception over here. Oh, like especially when we're inside a shopping center with our shop, so people come in and they ask, "Is it all right to vape in here?" Yes, you're allowed to vape in the vape shop. That's cool, but you're not allowed to vape out on the concourse of the shopping center.
Outside our doors. You gotta smoke
Yeah. But they say, "Why is that the law?" It's not the law. It's just
Common
policies.
courtesy.
Yeah, there's that about it as well. There's a lot around vape etiquette and all that sort of stuff, like blowing fat clouds in public and, you know, filling your clouds into someone else's face downwind and stuff like that. Like that's just a no-no.
Yeah,
But that's also just rude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. But
If you're
like,
gonna
you know,
do that, do it at a competition for money. Get paid, boy or girl,
or whatever you are, maybe.
or Dan.
But yeah, like there's
remember the last time
no actual law to say you're not allowed to vape inside. It's just policies of the specific landlord or owner of the establishment or stuff like that. So when someone comes up to me in the pub, I've been into a few pubs and I've vaped without asking before, and they say, "Oh, you can't do that in there." I'm like, "Okay, sorry about that." Like, but I wasn't like, you know, blowing fat clouds. I try and do it inconspicuous.
But I've noticed that's a very British thing. You do something until you get told not to, and then you don't do it. You're not like rude about it, but you do break the rule.
We try and bend the rules as far
But
as
there is no,
right.
but we don't know about the
Look how
rule.
malleable it is.
You know,
if there's a poster up that says no smoking including
It
electronic
says,
cigarettes.
sorry,
then
mate.
yeah, fair enough. Sorry, mate. Bloody wanker.
The amount of Ubers I get into when it's like before they've said no smoking and I've had a like cheeky little puff, but now they say no smoking including electronic cigarettes.
I'm sure it's much more rare than over here, though. Like over here, there's like you can't like smoke or vape in Disneyland at all.
Yeah,
all.
Disneyland. Yeah,
At
Well,
all.
in
but you can sure get drunk.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. In Euro Disney, which is in Paris, there's certain areas like smoking areas, vaping areas. We've got to go in them areas if you want to vape. Same in all the theme parks actually in the UK.
I really would love to see more vaping areas, because when you're putting a vapor in with a smoker, that's just basically telling you the vapor that you're just as, you know, the same thing as smoking. And let's face it, it's not.
You're doing that to not do this.
Yeah.
Right.
See, that's the thing as well, because it's not a recognized thing. It's not approved as, you know,
Something different.
yeah. So when I was at a certain job before, I was a delivery driver, and I used to like, you know, try and have a cheeky little vape doing what I'm doing, like without being too bait about it or too like, you know, too stupid about it and being ignorant. But like they said to me, right, you can't vape there. You like, this is walking across the car park. You're not allowed to vape here. You've got to go in the smoking shelter. And I'm like, yeah, this is when I first started as well. I'm like, yeah, but I'm vaping to come off the cigarettes, and then you want me to go back and stand next to them? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
I'm above them.
No, it's not even about that. But
joking.
it's about like, you know, the smell and the temptation, because the smell and looking at everybody enjoying their cigarettes, it was a temptation. It really was. I'm not going to lie to you. I was hooked, and it, you know, it took a bit of time for me to stop smoking totally. In the end, I used to just go out of the grounds so they couldn't say nothing then. I'd be on my own, do my own little thing, walk up and down the road or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's just...
When I'm out and about, like I don't vape like I normally would vape at the shop. Like at the shop, I feel free to vape with a bigger device and blow big clouds.
Fat cloud.
When I'm out, I'm very conservative. I just
and discreet as you can, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just very curious about Cap's views on vaping in general, because I mean, I want to know whether you're like for it in some cases or against it in other cases. Like, I just really want your questions, man.
It's a good question. Hold on. If say for example, Cap, someone who's very close to you, say your wife smoked, would you?
Yeah.
sort of push her, not push her necessarily, but would you recommend and sort of say, why don't you try vaping? Or
Well, yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, even whenever I had like friends whose parents smoked and stuff, I hated it. I was like, first of all, they smell rank all the fucking time, and I like there's just no benefits. The feeling you get is not good enough. If you're gonna smell like shit, you might as well smoke weed and there's no. I mean, come on.
How's that going in Arkansas?
Only in legal states and legal cities and legal countries.
Yeah, no comment.
Yeah,
Recreation?
yeah, well, yeah, that's
California.
what I'm saying. That's like, I mean, all the recreational and medical, if you have it, and it's medical in Arkansas, and that's absolutely wonderful. We have like 8 dispensaries now, or 4 or 5. It's either 5 to 7 dispensaries, one of those numbers.
5 to 7.
5 to 7. But there's 2 in Northwest Arkansas, which is where I live. So one in Fayetteville, and there's going to be one in Rogers, which is just 20 minutes down the road.
Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't seem like a lot, considering Arkansas is quite a big state. But then I remembered 80% of Arkansas is forest. So
yeah, the majority of it's forest
And swamp.
But
swamp.
yeah, that's the southern part. That's the southern part.
yeah,
Where it's touching Louisiana, and they just seep into us.
Swamp thing.
It's all their like Creole food, making them like digest all this like runny shit, and that's why it's swampy. And it just
Oh, God.
hey,
So it's
I
like
love
Jay's
me.
house.
Jay's shed. He shits in his chair too.
Fuck you, Nick. Oh, fuck
Anyways.
you, Cap.
Anyways,
Dan,
yes.
anything you want to add?
No, I'm good. I'll be your vapor for today.
Thank you.
Anyways, Jay, Dan, yes, I would push her to vape, but
So
because
you would recommend it?
I don't see vaping as a bad thing, and that's the thing. I don't see it as a bad thing, but like
You can kill yourself in an evening of drinking. Just saying.
you can kill yourself in an evening of drinking, or you can like overclock your vape and it can explode in your pocket or in your face.
That's a myth.
No. It's
Carelessness.
Nick,
it's just
Nick,
one of those things.
Why do vapes explode, Nick?
I would say between 80 to 90% of the time, it's not even a vape that explodes.
Mhm.
It's just a battery in
The
someone's
battery.
pocket.
that they're plugged into to charge it, and it overheats.
No, not even that. Not
Not
even
even
that.
that.
I'm talking a battery as in the 18650 cells that are used also in flashlights, like tactical flashlights.
Yeah.
Like for people listening, I'm holding a battery up to the screen to show Cap. This is an 18650 battery. It's used in several other industries, most of the time in battery packs.
Yeah.
Technically, they're not supposed to be sold outside of a battery pack. But
Uh-huh.
Vapors found the original mod,
Mhm.
not mod numero uno. It was a flashlight, a tactical flashlight. Someone ripped the bulb out of it, took the 2 wires, hooked it up to what's called a 510 connection, which is the thread size for the atomizer, and screwed an atomizer on top. They clicked it on to start vaping and clicked it off to stop vaping. And if that's not ingenious, then I don't know.
So
what
it was
is.
like a constant thing. Once they clicked it, that's it. It was firing, and then it needed to
Right.
click it again to stop it.
And since there was a necessity for more power and innovation, that's why we have the modern day mechanical mod device, which has a switch which you push to vape, basically up the bottom.
Bottom.
but
Ingenuity
that's
and evolution of the vape.
a necessity is the mother of all invention.
Mhm.
And people wanted more power. People wanted more vapor production. They wanted more cloud. They wanted more. So they went out of their way to invent these sort of things. And we kind of just adopted this technology using these batteries, which are readily available on many different websites on the web. So the fact of the matter is, occasionally you will see silly people doing silly things, like keeping a battery that, the one that I showed you there, that outside of their device in their pocket with possibly keys or change, anything metallic. If you touch both ends of those at the same time and you make a circuit, it causes a hard short. And really what happens inside the battery is it breaks the middle barrier, the electrolyte barrier in the middle, and causes the positive and negative to basically fuse together and infinitely heat up. to the point of venting it, which is just expulsion of gas, or explosion, which is much rarer than people think. Most of the time, batteries can vent completely silently and not explode, all the way up to and including explosion. So it depends on how bad the short is. If you just hold metal on both ends of that thing for an extended period of time, more than likely it's going to spark everywhere and shoot fireballs out, and it's not going to be pretty. You can see this. I just watched a video on Facebook of a guy tinkering with his electric bike. He's got a bicycle, like one of those electric bike things, and he was tinkering with the battery, which is a bad idea. And he must have popped one of the cells or something like that, and it's just started spewing fumes everywhere, which was batteries venting inside the pack. And he thought it would be a good idea to douse it with water. And that turned into just massive fireballs shooting out, and it was not a pretty thing. So this could happen in any industry. But the fact of the matter is, blaming the vape, the vaporizer, is a lot easier than blaming the battery.
It's almost like it's something associated with health. So if there's any way possible it could cause harm, it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Like separate things, like games consoles or whatever it may be, that's like completely separate thing. It's just not as bad if something goes wrong.
These battery cells are found in everyday objects, like
everything. Battery backups,
laptops, battery backups, in battery hoovers. Well, maybe not so much now because they've got like the lipo batteries in there, but like
flashlights still,
laptop batteries, flashlights, your cordless drills. They're all in series in the bottom of the battery pack there. You know.
That's why you find like 19-volt drills. It's because each battery is 4.2 volts. So you just have X amount to equal out to like 19 volts. Yeah. So it's easy to, like I said, it's easy to blame the device, the action, if you will, rather than blaming the common object of a battery. Because who knows? I mean, the guy could have been a vapor. He could have been a tactical flashlight enthusiast and had an e-cigarette in his hand, and then a battery goes off in his pocket from his flashlight, and it, you know, I'm not saying that happens every time. Yeah. I'm sure most of the time that people vent batteries, it was just them being stupid.
But it is stupidity. But also on the flip side of it, it's like, you know, lack of information to these people. Like when batteries are supplied, like 9 times out of 10, in fact, 10 times out of 10, in all vape devices that contain batteries or that can have batteries put in there, there's a little leaflet to tell you about battery safety.
And how many people just toss that right in the garbage?
Right
away. Probably 10 out of 10 people.
But when I sell a device, I'll say, here's your warranty card, here's your certificate of authenticity, here's your instructions, here is your battery safety card.
Make sure you have
read that.
Yeah.
But more people die every year of peanut-related allergies than vaping.
More people die from
nicotine vaping. And even THC cartridge vaping. More people die every year from nut allergies and crocodile attacks than
Florida.
Right, yeah. Thanks, Florida.
Thanks, Florida.
Florida man eaten by a crocodile again.
Again.
Just saying.
How did he get out the last time? Anyways.
Well, wouldn't it be alligator? Because crocodiles only live in certain places. Yeah. Or is Florida just one of those?
I think Florida's just one of those things, man.
Florida is the Australia of America.
Yeah.
Everything wants to eat you.
Yeah.
Everything
wants to kill you.
Just don't even like there's people,
the meth heads.
The people there, man. They just want to eat you.
Well, literally. Oh man.
Yeah. Like no, yeah. So it's not that I have I don't have any really problems with vaping. It's that like I'm not even uncomfortable. It's there's just so much things that like what are the long-term effects that have come out? Do we know? I mean, this is just years. For 50 years. And so okay. So is it like how much I'm always for regulation, always, because that's just how
we are too. We are for sensible regulation. Sensible is the key word there.
And the thing is, as me not knowing the industry, I don't know what sensible is when it comes to some of that. So like with more information, I would know what's sensible. So that's why about the age. I know flavors are a bit like people love flavors. And,
Right. Now,
but-
flavors are the biggest target right now.
Mhm. Yeah.
As a side note, we have they have the TPD in the UK, which limits bottle size, tank capacity, and nicotine content, and obviously age restrictions. And there's a lot of like marketing stuff in there too. Like you can't advertise health benefits and all that. You can't say, yeah, this is healthy for you or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I agreed with a few of those things in different ways, but obviously the UK has like the 10 mil bottle size restrictions. So you can only get bottles that are 10 mils with nicotine already in them. And people want more than that. People want 100 mil bottles, giant bottles of juice with nicotine already in them, or with nicotine in them rather than just zero. So what they do over there is what's called a short fill. So it's a 60 mil bottle filled with 50 mils of liquid, 0 milligram, no nicotine. And then they have nicotine shots. So they have a nicotine shot, they pour it in, shake it up, and it's got nicotine now ready to vape. So that's a loophole, a way around the law. And the UK, at least, is not looking to, fix that whatsoever. Now, as far as flavors in the US, it's looked at completely different. Flavors in the US are being targeted because health advocates and, the Surgeon General and the Truth Initiative and all these other organizations are saying that flavors hook kids. Big Tobacco is using flavors to hook kids on nicotine for life. And really how it started is, again, necessity. Because back in the day when vaping first started, we had flavors coming from China. And most of the time it was like tobacco flavors. DK555 is a cigarette brand in China. And vapors adopted that, and it's just called 555, RY4 is another Chinese cigarette brand that they made the flavor for, and then it kind of floated over here to the US, and we adopted it. And now people wanted to experiment with it and try different things and use different products, and they wanted to make different things. So they decided to just try to make it themselves. And you had these little mom and pop juice makers who just mix some stuff up in their kitchen, and people liked it. So they started giving it out locally or selling it locally. And it grew and grew and grew into a business. And that business, and over time, it just grew massively into what we have now. We have companies that have labs that are $3 million. They're ISO 9000 certified, which is ISO is basically an air particle, like air cleanliness. You could make microchips in an ISO 9000 lab. That's how clean it is. And that's where your e-liquid is being manufactured nowadays, not in someone's basement,
someone's bath or someone's sink.
Not tin tub.
Yeah, because that's just the illegal shit,
Right. And
that's doing that.
We are trying our best to keep this industry as professional as possible. We self-regulate in the sense that we call out bad branding. We call out companies with bad business practices, and we basically try to blacklist them, where we tell people don't buy from this company because they're bad.
Dank vapes is one.
Well,
of them.
that's the THC side of things.
Yeah, that's the THC.
Dank vapes.
Yeah,
Dank vapes itself is not doing anything wrong. What the problem is here is that people can buy Dank vapes packaging on Etsy and eBay and make their own at home, and fill up these cartridges, put whatever they want inside, and package it in a Dank vapes package and claim it's a Dank vapes cart and sell it for however much. So it's the kind of like,
it's just the black market side of things.
It's the black market, exactly.
It's just people trying to skim,
make a quick buck off of someone else's name. Now, Dank Vapes is, since this whole thing happened, Dank Vapes has already switched up their packaging. It's completely different now. And if you are a connoisseur of the cannabis, then you will know the difference between a black market cartridge and a real one. But the problem is there's no information coming from the CDC. The CDC is not publishing pictures of what these cartridges look like. They're not posting pictures of the authentic ones. Like
this is the good THC, this is the bad THC. That doesn't
need more transparency.
Yeah.
So like what I think, the conspiracy in me.
You may be wrong.
God, here we go.
What I
Here
think.
we go. You've unlocked the beast.
See, I don't think it's as bad as you guys think it is. But
All right.
okay, hold on.
We shall see.
What I think it is that there's a certain administration that wants people scared right now. And this is just another thing on our news feed to be scared about.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, there are people are doing this illegally and it needs to be shut down and shit. Yeah, but it's like you said, it's not the epidemic that everybody's making it out to be.
And you got to also realize that a lot of these people that are getting sick might not even be telling the truth about things. And there's even some, I call them momvacates, because they're like mom advocates, right?
The mothers against blah, 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 blah,
mothers
blah,
against
blah, blah, blah.
Jewel, yeah, all that. So they like to go and post pictures of their kid in the hospital hooked up to a respirator, saying, "Oh, well, this is Susie. She's in a medically induced coma, and she didn't use THC. For all you guys saying it was THC, it wasn't. She was vaping, and she was using a Juul, or she was using a XYZ device, and she wasn't using those THC cartridges. She would never do that.
I've seen that
She's
shit.
a good girl. She's my
Yeah.
princess.
I've seen that. That's that propaganda. I've seen it. I fucking.
Yeah.
Give me a
I've seen
break.
those other ones. I've seen those other ones like where people are posting. They're like, I vaped for so many years, and this is what, and it's terrible. And
Now, I really, the word conspiracy theorist is almost like a really bad thing right now, because there was a thing in California, as like symposium on nicotine and all that in California, where they had one woman testify on the side of vaping against a whole room of people that were anti-vaping. And at the very end of her testimony, she was like berated by this woman on the panel, basically calling her a conspiracy theorist because she was winking at someone in the room. And she said, "No, that's just my friend. I was just, saying hello," basically. And she's like, are you a conspiracy theorist? And badgering her about this. So that's kind of why the whole conspiracy theorist thing is looked down upon right now in the industry. But if you want to talk conspiracy theorists,
mine's a different conspiracy. It's not aimed at vaping at all.
but okay, so like as far as the vaping thing is concerned, the Dr. Oz show brought a guy on, and he had claimed that he doesn't use THC cartridges. It was only just regular vaping and this and that. And then guess what? He can't hide because people caught up with him. And then he admitted that Dr. Oz kind of coaxed him into saying that.
Dude, I hate Dr. Oz so much.
Who's Dr. Oz?
He's a television doctor.
Yeah, he's as much as a doctor as
He's a reality show doctor. Dr. Phil.
I wouldn't even put him on that level. I think he's as much of a doctor as Zoidberg.
Yeah, basically. So whenever my grandmother says, "Oh, I saw this on the television the other day. It's from Dr. Oz." And it's just something like, "Oh, well, chocolate. You eat too much chocolate, it's going to stunt your growth." It's like, I don't know. It's something stupid like that.
You get too much sunlight, you'll die.
It's a lot of that, like, "Oh, you can eat this as long as you can eat all this and still lose weight." It's Dr. Oz television bullshit. It's
right.
Doo-dah. Yeah, it's trash.
So
it's the Jerry Springer of like reality.
Oh, they don't know Jerry Springer.
No, not really.
That's so. I love having inside jokes. Oh,
Jeremy Kyle. We used to have something very similar. Jeremy Kyle.
We need to have some American inside jokes so that they don't know, so we can.
I know.
Dan, can you just see what's happening here?
What, we're just getting ganged up on by the Yanks?
Yeah. So now there's two Yanks.
It's 2v2, bitch. How is it gang?
The funny thing is, you two are further away than.
How do you think I feel during Savs on Sundays at
at
8?
What's that?
At 8, yeah.
Yeah, but you're British when you come on to Savs.
Oh, I take that as a compliment.
Oh, so he's a bloke?
He's a bloke.
He's a bloke. Okay.
He's a top
He's a
gentleman.
mate.
Yeah.
He's a top
You're
gentleman.
silly Yank.
He's an alright governor.
Listen, Union Jack.
But it's so funny how Cap looks like Guy Fawkes.
Guy Fawkes, yeah.
He does. Oh my God.
Remember the 5th of November. I can say the whole poem. It's okay.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That nonsense.
The gunpowder treason and plot.
Ooh.
Know of no reason where the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
That's just because you love V for Vendetta.
Yeah, I do. I have a poster somewhere, wherever the hell it is.
Whatever it is. Okay, I've got something to ask Nick. Let's move away from the vaping. Let's get away from that doom and gloom.
Doom and gloom.
Nick, if you went or if you were invited to a barbecue, what would you expect to be cooked?
Well, if Jay would ever invite me over for a barbecue and we actually do it.
Bruv, I've got smoking chips specially for you.
No, I'm still waiting.
Come on.
Yeah, I'll be over in February. We'll have one then. What would I expect to be cooked? In my area, it's usually the familiar fare, just burgers and dogs. Sometimes chicken.
Burgers. Hold on. Burgers and hot dogs. No, and hold on, Cap. Hold on, Cap.
Yeah.
Burgers and hot dogs at a barbecue.
You said barbecue,
Yes.
didn't you? Fuck
Absolutely.
off. Fuck
Absolutely.
off.
Okay, Nick.
Fuck off.
Nick, now, if you were invited to a cookout, would you
damn it.
expect different food, or would you just think, oh, it's the same thing?
I mean, it's about the same. I mean, cookout and barbecue are pretty much. I mean, okay.
Fucking love you, Nicholas.
Listen. So, if you're talking about barbecue, the food is different. Okay.
No. That's
Not flavored.
Nick, I'm inviting you to my barbecue.
Right. Okay.
I'm inviting you to my cookout.
It's 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. Sorry.
Sorry, Cap. Get in the
Yeah. I mean, okay. So if you're talking about barbecue, the food, then you're talking about ribs and pulled pork. Yeah.
Brisket.
But that's
Toast.
barbecue the food, not
style
barbecue
food.
the action. Barbecue the action is literally going out onto a barbecue and putting meat onto it and cooking
Going
it.
outside, having a few cold beers, and putting some meat.
Right. Beer,
See,
Bit of music,
coleslaw,
summertime,
and this is
potato
how
salad.
unless
this
you're
is how
British and we do it in the
regions-
rain.
Yeah.
This is how regions differ. Is because down here, if you're going to a barbecue, you're getting barbecue.
Fuck off, cunt.
You're
Listen, you
going
lost.
to a cookout, you're
You
getting
fucking
cookout
lost.
food.
You're right, mate.
I'm just saying, regions
That
matter.
is going
culture,
in the trash can.
Culture matters.
I've had barbecue in Texas and it's fantastic. Just any roadside barbecue.
See,
You get, the tray, you get the styrofoam plate.
from plate.
Yeah, and you just
Yeah.
like load it up.
Just
They
dump it
really
on.
loaded.
See,
stuff,
you
yeah.
need the thing. Like when you come down south a little bit more, you can try. There's the Memphis style. There's like Texas style. There's tons of different barbecues that you just gotta try. They're all different. They're all fantastic.
I want to try Nashville hot chicken.
Nashville hot chicken. That for some reason that was like not a thing until like 10 years ago. But there's this place in Nashville that you can't go there and order. You have to call ahead, and it has some of the hottest chicken in the nation. So you can
Nice.
I'm out.
it makes me
It's
I was
making
gonna
Dan
smell
sweat
Jay
now
after
just
that.
thinking about
it
it.
makes my mouth water every time I think about it.
Jay would smell so bad after that. I guarantee. Oh.
I wouldn't
Jay
smell
would-
so bad. You lot would.
Jay's ass is already accompanied to just everything just falling out of it. So I mean,
Cheers, mate.
anytime he shits, it's like yelling down a hallway anytime he farts.
Like letting off a balloon, but like
Dan, you're meant to be on my fucking team here.
you're just so easy to roast.
Come on, bruv.
It's 2v2, man. It's 2v2.
Can I be an honorary Yank?
Is that how you
You
going?
gotta say soccer.
You gotta say soccer.
I'm
You
on
gotta-
You gotta say,
I'm
see,
on
you gotta say soccer,
Yeah.
and you gotta pronounce it as Z, not a Z.
Not a Z.
Soccer. Fuck you, Dan.
And
Zebra.
aluminum.
Zebra.
Aluminum.
Aluminum.
Oh shit. Okay, so they don't pronounce the H in herb. Herbs. They pronounce the
Herb.
H in herbs.
That's because there's an
Yeah.
H at the beginning
No,
of it.
yeah. So
Herbs.
Herb.
yeah, but you say H's in other words, so I don't get that. I just
Not really. Ought. It's all out.
It's hot.
It's hot.
No, that's
Hot.
just Jay. You're getting your opinions from
Hot.
Jay, who doesn't pronounce anything right.
I know.
Fuck
Don't
off,
learn
you.
English from Jay.
I mean,
Why not?
Dan's
you
all
mad?
posh and whatnot.
Jay.
I
Hold on.
taught a Chinese
This is what I was
woman
gonna
a
say.
vendor. Mate, it was fucking awesome. I was
Wait,
teaching
what is it?
so batteries, yeah.
Fizzog.
Battery. Battery.
Battery.
Battery.
What did you think one of these was?
Bottle.
A bottle.
Oh,
A bottle. Get in a bottle.
butter.
It was funny.
Quality.
I feel sorry for her when she goes to the next meeting with English people.
Why?
This is a bottle.
Jam jar.
Jam jar. That's slang.
Yeah.
Ginger.
Yeah. Didn't you teach her slang?
A
What?
little bit. Boat race.
Boat race. Yeah, she said boat race. I
Boat
remember
race.
that. Yeah, yeah.
You should have taught her struggling grunt.
Congratulations, Jay. You taught her incorrect English.
Cockney rhyming slang is not English.
It's more English than what those two speak.
That's very true.
Jay, aren't you from Birmingham though?
From the Midlands.
Midlands ish.
Oh!
I didn't know this.
I don't know what that means.
I didn't know.
It means he's not necessarily a chav, but
I feel betrayed.
he's
He's
got
a-
chav rubbed off on him.
So he's basically a farmer.
Nick.
You're not a
Jay wants to
natural
punch me.
Essex/Londoner.
Nick. You're a bit of a cunt.
Aren't you glad you invited me on your show?
Dan's mind is fucking blown.
What?
No, he's actually from Liverpool.
I'm not.
I don't know if we can be friends.
Did you know the Beatles?
Oh god.
Are you friends with John? Or were you friends with John? Because you were alive back then. In the 50s.
Oh my days. Ooh.
Hello there, Brian.
Folks, thank you very much.
God,
I-
don't
I
mention
think-
the
I
Beatles
think-
or Harry Potter.
I think this is going to be a special extended episode because I don't know how long it's run on for.
It
but
feels like much longer.
Yeah, it
but
feels like a little bit long.
I'm quite happy to carry on getting roasted. Fucking
Yeah, I have another question for Nick. It also relates to food. Just if you need to.
Oh, yeah, we
Bantersation-
need to do food.
If you're new to Bantersation, episode 1 through 8, there has been a reference to food, and there always will be, forever. So get used to that. Nick,
Right.
Food.
you have been locked up for the rest of your life on death row. What is your 3-course meal? And this is when I say 3-course. People interpret big 3-course meal differently. So starter or appetizer, as you may say. Main course, entree. Is that what you call a main course?
Entree. Main course is an entree, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Starter, appetizer, entree, dessert. And you're allowed 1 drink. Has to be the same drink, but you get unlimited refills.
unlimited drink.
Okay. That's a very good question, and
Start
thank
with
you
your
for
drink.
asking.
No worries.
I've studied serial killers' last meals, and that is fascinating to me.
As
no,
you
but
do.
just
As you do,
because
yeah.
it's just
in
so
case,
interesting. I
you
mean,
know.
there was, I forget who it was, but there was one that was literally just a single olive with the pit still in it. That's it.
I think I know. Yeah, no. I remember that because like there's a documentary at some point that I watched, but I can't remember who. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Well, you can Google it. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah.
My meal, start with a drink. I would have a nice old-fashioned bourbon cocktail. So it's like it's a bourbon with maraschino cherry. It's got to be a specific one, Angostura cherry. That's the best one. They're like $30 for a little jar. Bitters and a little bit of twist of orange peel. Oh,
What's bitters?
bitters is literally like it's like a dash. You put a dash of bitters in. It's
Lime
like-
juice or something.
no. It's bitter. It's bitter. It's I don't
Like-
really
like
know.
beer.
What, bitter as in
No,
ale?
no. It's just it's like a sauce almost.
Okay.
It's hard to describe it.
Hold
It's
on,
literally like
let's-
an additive or
Let's debate this drink for 1 second. If you were having a massive meal, a massive 3-course meal, would you really want spirits?
Are you gonna get
Yeah,
sloshed
I want
after
I
one?
want booze. Yeah. Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I get what you mean.
It's
I'd love a
strong.
glass of whiskey to end it all on, but if I was having a full meal, I wouldn't stay. I don't think I'd be refreshed. By
It's not your meal, Dan.
No,
Yeah.
no. I'll
I mean,
completely. I'll accept what you say, but I just want to.
You can
Fucking
have
hell.
you can
Maybe
you can
I'll-
have alcohol. You can
A
have
rack of
spirits.
Cap stash. Chill
You
out.
can have spirits with a meal if you know how to pair it properly, right?
Ooh.
So
You're not
like
mixing it
you
with
have
anything.
to. Well,
Yeah, it's
you
mixing it with
can-
bitters.
Whatever
Well,
the
yeah,
fuck
no,
that
it's a
is.
cocktail. Google it. Oh, it also has what is it called? Simple syrup. It's muddled sugar and water,
I
basically.
see what he's doing there. He's getting extra fucking stuff in just with his
Yeah, that's what
got
it
a
is.
cherry.
I'm gonna have a
It's
drink
a
of syrup,
cocktail.
a cherry, some whiskey.
No, it's literally like that much in a glass, like a little short rocks glass.
Okay.
So it's a small cocktail, but if you want to be refreshed, you can have like a Moscow Mule or something like that, or a Kentucky Mule with
Go pick
bourbon.
one.
Right. So listen, it's my meal. I'm picking.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm gonna have some bourbon before I go out. I'm gonna have a big ass steak, like
Oh, no. Appetizer first.
appetizer first. Ooh, I want some seafood, maybe some like fried calamari.
Not a bad shout. Not a bad shout.
Yeah,
Fried
some
calamari.
fried calamari with some
That's what Kat
cocktail
said.
sauce or
I was gonna say,
marinara.
you're allowed a dip, so
Yeah, I was gonna say like probably marinara. I love marinara.
Fuck that. We wasn't allowed to dip.
yeah. But you didn't have anything dippable.
I can't remember what I had, but
Dippable.
fuck that.
I
Jay
had
just-
prawns, and I said I would want my prawns with like a garlic sauce of some sort.
Jay would just choose chicken fingers and chips for his last meal.
Fish
so.
fingers.
I fucking
Yeah.
never, mate. I chose a full English. It was either a full English or
Yeah.
I think it was
From
a
the
roast dinner.
carver.
It was a full English. I'm pretty sure you picked
What
that.
I think
no,
it was a
what was your
roast dinner.
starter? Your roast
Yeah.
dinner was your main course.
Oh, I can't remember what the starter was. Oh no, was it cheese platter?
Yes, it was.
Ooh.
Cheese
What's
and,
your favorite cheese? Oh, wrong.
It was a cheese and ham platter thing.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And ham. Oh, why are you adding stuff on?
because that comes.
This is what I said. I was like, you can have a bit of every single cheese on the face of the earth. That's not fair.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Right, anyway. So
I
you
want
got
a
calamari.
Gallon of beer. Right. Calamari with some marinara dipping sauce. I had it at one time with like the calamari had like a mix of peppers and pineapple in with it. It was delicious. So that's what I would choose. That right there, that style calamari. Spicy, little Cajun. Anyways, moving on. Main course, a big ass steak, like
What cut?
Prime.
prime rib. I love prime rib. It
Yeah.
melts in your mouth. It's so good. I'm gonna go with prime rib.
Steak.
Just a
How-
huge 2-inch thick slab.
How will it be cooked?
How?
Oh yeah. What?
Honestly, I usually go medium well, but I'll go medium for this. Just nice red, little bit of blood, just juicy.
No,
Please.
medium rare is what you need to go.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
that's a
medium
bit too
rare.
bloody for me. That's a bit too bloody for me. I'd like it with, some cooked parts.
Yeah.
Medium,
I don't like
medium's
it.
fine.
It needs to be
Red.
more cooked than this much.
What is it
It's
with
more-
Americans and the meat just being charred as anything?
It's like a hot pink center.
Like brisket. Brisket just looks like a lump of
I
coal.
love me some hot pink center.
Yeah, you love some hot pink Santa.
Mhm. Especially on some steak.
What is
Especially
it?
on some steak.
Hashtag after show.
So I'd have that, and I would have you get sides, right? You get
Sides with you. I mean, if it's an if
side
it's
of
a
what?
It's a steak. I can't just have a steak.
can't just
What,
have a
like
steak.
onion rings and
Don't have a
peas
steak
or
then.
something?
No,
No,
potato,
that-
mashed potatoes.
mashed- like-
Yeah,
yeah,
Mashed potatoes with lumps in it, with like
So
what
you
is it,
mean
like sour
someone-
cream?
lumps in it like someone can't mash potato.
Yeah, not quite mashed potatoes. Yeah, lumpy mashed potatoes
Crushed
with
potato.
sour cream and some chives and some salt and pepper. Yeah,
Do you guys
Mm.
have peppercorn sauce?
we probably call it something different.
Yep.
We have like peppercorn dressing.
So it's creamy peppercorn sauce. You cook it, and then you put it over steak.
It's probably pretty similar to peppercorn dressing. We have creamy peppercorn salad dressing.
Literally got like the lumps.
It's not salad dressing. It goes on a steak. You cook it, so
Oh,
it's
It
like
may just
gravy.
be-
It's similar to gravy, but it's peppery and it's got whole
Thicker.
peppercorns in there.
Yeah.
We more like to
It's like
just
bread
use
sauce,
big
kind
sauce.
of.
It's not as thick as that.
No, it's a little bit thinner.
We're more just
it's
meat
like
and potatoes.
It's like KFC gravy consistency with peppercorns in there, and it tastes of pepper. So it's peppercorn sauce.
I mean, it sounds delicious.
Obviously, you don't.
It's-
Anyway,
Definitely would try
got
it.
your mashed potato, sour cream, and chives. Anything else on the side? Onion rings or mushroom?
No.
Bacon sandwich.
Streaky
I
bacon.
would say
Plastic cheese.
asparagus. I love
Oh,
asparagus.
Asparagus.
With sliced almonds. Yeah, with sliced almonds.
God, asparagus.
Lots of butter.
He doesn't have to worry about his pee smelling bad.
Butter,
He's gonna
pepper,
die.
and
Get in the chair.
sea salt. Yeah.
He's on death row.
Well, what's the last thing you do before you die? You avoid your bowels.
Yeah,
and-
but they
and
have to worry
your
about
bladder.
that, not you.
That's true. You know
know.
what? I
They
want
have to clean it up.
I want to change my complete death row meal to just the worst smelling shit on the planet. I'll just have 30,000.
Cuttlefish.
Some Mike's mates
Cuddle.
fucking curry Brussels sprouts.
God.
Imagine that.
All right. So before we move on, disgusting fact of the day. Here's one for you.
Ding.
Before they would give you the lethal injection or electric chair, they would actually take a wad of cotton packed with like
Was it Muji cotton?
petroleum jelly and shove it up your ass while you're still alive.
Keep you bunged up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Put a cork in it.
Yes, they do. They literally
Anyway.
do that.
On that bum note, what's your
Don't shit on my
dessert?
chair.
Dessert. I'm gonna go with a really nice peach cobbler.
Oh,
That's not
It's
bad.
amazing.
I don't know what cobbler is.
Cobbler,
It's
it's-
basically pie, but
It's a shoemaker.
it's like round bits of pastry that go on top of a peach stew, sort of
It's
like
good.
rhubarb. It's like apple crumble, but instead of a crumble on top, it's got bits of pastry that are sweetened
What, like a
and
sort of
caramelized brown sugar and
Danish?
no.
And with a
Not a Danish.
scoop of vanilla bean ice cream.
yeah,
So French vanilla. I change
French
it.
vanilla.
What did you even
French
say? I wasn't really listening.
You're fired.
I'm sorry. The cobbler. So explain the
Peach
cobbler again.
cobbler. Yeah.
Peach.
It's kind of like
Strudel?
man, it's so hard to explain. It's cooked peaches with cinnamon and nutmeg and sugar, and it's like
Yes.
cooked down so that it's like you get some like sauce in there too, right? So you get like it's like
a
a brown sugary,
syrupy type
syrupy sauce, right?
with
so it's
lumps
that
of
with
peaches in.
lumps, right? With lumps of peaches, and then it's topped with like pastry.
Sounds good.
If that makes any sense, okay.
I like pastry.
I've
I like
tried-
peach,
I'm
I
tr-
like cinnamon.
It's really good.
Yeah. It's really good
Sounds good.
with a scoop a la mode, if you will.
Yeah.
If
Trifle,
you
good.
parlez-vous français.
Get some ice cream on that bitch.
And that's my last meal. I would die a happy, very happy man.
Yeah. I feel like steak's kind of boring though, no?
Depends what you're doing to the peach cobbler.
I don't
You
even
know what
care if
Americans
it's-
are like with warm apple pies and all that.
Oh my god.
They think it's American, but it's not. The pricks.
Yeah.
It's
American is apple pie. That's not
Yeah,
American.
but you call it something goofy, I guarantee it.
Well, apple pie is apple pie, mate.
Bloody delicious.
Strumpet.
Crumpet. What? Speaking of crumpets, Nick. How do you have crumpets, Nick?
Do you know what? They're best when they're cooked.
Toasted with butter.
Toasted with butter. How was the
Yeah.
first time you had a crumpet, Nick?
I learned my lesson. First time I had a crumpet, we were rushing. Everyone else had finished their breakfast, and I was the last one to go up and fill my plate. So by the time I sat down, everyone was like, "All right, let's go." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" So I literally just shoved everything in my mouth, and no one said that. Hey, you should probably go toast that crumpet because I was just rushing. All right, so it's your fault.
Oh,
No,
British steak,
uh,
put on my plate.
I was sat down next to you. No, it's all right, Nick. We've got plenty of time. How's that raw crumpet going for you?
I'm just like, whatever. I'm just eating it. I don't even care anymore.
Eat
I've
the
eaten
fucking-
raw, like plain bread before. Have you not had like a bread sandwich?
Bread sandwich.
Bread-
Yeah, but raw
bread
bread
sandwich.
is like dough.
Well, it wasn't. Raw crumpets aren't dough.
The
They're
thing
they're
is,
still
bread is cooked,
spongy.
turn it into bread, and then it's cooked again to turn it into toast. Crumpets are not the same thing, really.
Yeah, but it's not raw. It's not dough.
See,
Oh, it's
I'm gonna
still.
come to your defense a little bit, Nick. There's been many a time
Hard.
I've grabbed a crumpet out of the packet and just ate it. There's nothing really wrong.
You
with it.
heathen.
There's nothing really wrong with that. It's
There's
just
nothing right with that.
It's just chewy. It's like
You've
eating
got
a
to fucking
sponge.
toast it.
It's
And
like,
then you've got to put real butter, not this fake margarine
Okay.
1 molecule away from plastic
it's
bullshit.
like getting a bagel and just taking
Cap.
a bite out of a bagel.
Cap.
There's nothing wrong.
This to
But that's
them,
cooked.
Yeah.
this to them is like the debate, the ultimate debate, like pineapple on pizza to like.
Oh, don't get
I guess
that
it's
shit.
everybody.
Cap is fucking Hawaiian pizza #1, man, over
Fuck
here.
that shit.
Okay, there's a difference between pineapple on pizza and Hawaiian pizza. Okay,
Whatever.
Hawaiian
Ham and
pizza is
cheese.
Hawaiian pizza has to have Canadian bacon on it. I like chicken on mine.
Chicken and pineapple.
My perfect pizza is chicken, pineapple, jalapenos, and diced tomatoes.
Okay.
That's a very southern thing.
Put an end to
Because
this
Stan,
episode.
Let's get it
hold on,
right.
wait. Stan came to the UK and ordered that exact pie, basically, except it was jalapenos, chicken with hot sauce, and cheddar cheese.
I put hot sauce on my pizza.
Right. So Stan ordered one of those pizzas when we went over there, and a few people were daring enough to try it, and they loved it. So
It didn't have
I'm
pineapple
saying-
on it.
it did have pineapple, jalapeno, chicken, hot sauce, cheddar cheese.
But you're cheating a bit, I think.
How?
cheating?
Because the hot sauce and the pineapple is a bit like sweet and sour. And...
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be on a pizza.
That's a Sour Patch Kid.
And anyway, going back to it, yeah?
Yeah.
An Hawaiian is ham, cheese, pineapple. Straight. That is it.
That's what I mean. I like
and-
Hawaiians, but I mean,
And
I would
marinara
rather
sauce
have
and
my
bread.
pizza. Yeah, and marinara sauce with bread. That's good.
I could probably make you a delicious pineapple pizza and you would love it. Like I could think of like 8 different recipes right now for including pineapple in my pizza.
Oh,
And
sliced pineapple, pineapple chunks, whole pineapple. Oh, fucking hell.
Listen,
It's
don't tempt me.
Sounds
Fuck.
good to me.
Fuck that shit.
Sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down for it.
Blaz pineapple on the way. You heard it here first.
Ooh,
Oh.
sounds delicious. Actually,
It does.
Yeah, the only trouble is it can't be released in the US.
it can be
'Cause it's
released
got
in the UK
flavour.
though.
Sorry, bro.
Blaz on Y4.
Nick, do you know that they don't get pizza rolls in the UK
At all.
at all?
No pizza
Ask-
rolls. What about pizza bagels?
I don't think they
Little,
have that.
little mini bagels with pizza topping.
I don't think they
Right,
have that either.
so-
Hold on.
Pete,
There was a thing when I went on Amazon and I searched specifically. This
this
was a
is
few
fucking
years ago.
insane.
When I first started talking to Americans and they told me about pizza rolls, they were like, it's just a little bit of dough, it's a marinara sauce, and there's different ones. There's like combination ones with different meats, and some with pepperoni in and stuff like that. And I Googled them, tried to find them. I tried to find them on our supermarkets, nothing. And eventually I found Amazon America, which I didn't even know I could order from. And I found just massive bulk bags of them. It was like probably 300 pizza rolls. I could buy them.
Time you get 'em.
But it was like $116. And obviously, yeah. And
It's
obviously they
worth
have
it.
this- It probably is worth it. I'm desperate for them because anyone who knows me knows I'm an absolute pizza addict.
Yeah, he's got shares in Domino's.
I should have.
It's literally
He's got
like
a black card.
he just eats. It's
I wish.
Domino's.
They would never give me a black card because I make them too much money. There's no way.
Okay.
Nick, would
Gotcha.
you order a pizza 10 minutes before close?
Oh, that is so
Dan would.
not cool.
It's
Dan
not cool,
would.
but you know it's going to be fresh.
Guess what? I'd do it at least once a week.
And spat on.
He
Nice,
doesn't
fresh
care.
spit.
It could have pubes in it, and he
Do
would.
you do you
The
tip
funny-
the driver?
Yeah.
you-
Yeah,
do
that's
you-
customary.
Yeah.
Do you tip the driver then?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot? Do you
I
tip
pay.
him a
This
lot?
is the thing. I pay on card every time because I don't have much cash. But the cash I do have often is like £1, £2, maybe sometimes a bit more. I often give them £2.
You need to tip more.
They
sometimes
don't. They're
later
not
at
used to
times.
tipping.
This
They're
is
not-
how bad it is.
Yeah.
This is how bad
not
it is, right?
customary to tip.
When I have had cash,
Yeah, I
I
forgot
know
about
every
that.
time my pizza order comes to about £23 because I usually get a side and maybe a drink and stuff like that. If I've got £25, I just go, "Here's £25." I'm like, "Oh, keep the change," and they're always really shocked that I've said that. So I feel like not many people.
Yeah,
probably do.
because they're thinking you tight sod.
Is that is that not much?
£3
of a tip?
is actually.
When
it's
I,
like,
right, so when
that's
I
like
worked,
almost $5.
I
Yeah,
actually worked
that's
for
a good tip.
Domino's.
Not bad.
Right. So I actually worked for Domino's East London. I was their bike mechanic for 7 or 8 stores. I used to look after 110 mopeds or whatever it was. And sometimes I used to get dragged into doing deliveries when they had big orders. Mate, when I used to go to the doors and that, all nicely smiling, Pete's coming through, whatever that show is.
Is that what you did?
No, but you know, Martin Lawrence, when he's in that thing, he's got to get the diamond. I got your pizza coming through. Anyway, they used to tip like £5-10 and shit.
Damn.
Yeah.
This is in
Wow.
like posh England, isn't it? Where Joe.
Oh. Wait. What part of London?
Shropshire.
It was Essex.
Oh.
Some parts of Essex they're pretty loaded though, so you know, never know.
Yeah. But
So, yeah,
anyway.
like
Not Jay's part.
it's customary to tip 20% at a restaurant here. Like, I mean, 20%, and then if it's if you're ordering that late, I would probably tip another 20%. So
Would you really?
It's a sliding scale between 15 and 20, depending on service.
Fuck that shit.
yeah,
Mate, when they
They're
close,
all
they
like-
close. If they close at 11 o'clock and I order at 10:55, who gives a? Well, that's a little bit.
But you guys
That's
are terrible to the service industry in over there in the
I don't know
UK.
about that.
Hold tight a minute.
we're
Jay
pretty bad
doesn't
too.
know who doesn't tip?
Oh man, I've seen people just cuss someone out right there in the shop. Like,
Bro,
hey,
see, like,
this is supposed to be this.
I've heard
know.
stories of Americans getting, like, English people getting chased out of American diners, restaurants, whatever. Oh, you didn't leave me a tip. You get a fucking wage, mate.
See, this is the thing we
You
talked
don't
about.
tip a bus driver. Do you get tipped for serving people in your shop, Nick?
I wish.
What, do you go?
You can put out a tip jar.
I got tipped the other day. A transaction came to like £18.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes people, if I change your coil out, they give me a couple of bucks. And
Yeah, but I do that shit for free. I do a
See-
build for free.
See, the difference is like whenever like a waitress, they get like their wage that they get paid is like $2 an hour.
Well, that's fucking against the
Yeah.
law.
No, it's not.
Well, it is in this country.
That's what I'm saying. It's not illegal here because they also they get taxed on their tips that
Do you
they
not
get.
have a minimum wage?
We do, but it's different for service industry.
Well, blame your fucking country. Fucked another thing
I
up.
understand that. I'm
What's
just
minimum-
saying.
what's minimum
we're not
wage?
agreeing with it. We're not agreeing with it.
We're not agreeing with it.
defending it.
We
Is-
just tipping is their living. They have to get tipped, or else they won't make any money.
Is your minimum wage nationwide, or is it split between all your states like everything else?
There's a
States.
federal. Well, like
Yeah,
there's a
federal
there's
is
a
only like
federal-
$6.75 though.
No, I think it's like $7.50.
Okay, fine.
$7.50, and then each state can raise it depending.
So
Yeah.
minimum wage is $7.50. That's
Minimum
like,
wage
Federal. That's as low as it can be is $7.50.
mate, that's
where
like
I'm from,
£6 quid.
it's like $10.
Yeah, you're in a very progressive part of the country, and you're very. I don't know if you like having a high minimum wage. Ours is like $8.25.
Not when gas costs me like $3 a gallon.
See, and gas costs us like two something, which is funny because you should be near a port, right?
Doesn't matter. It's nowhere near an oil pipeline or
Okay.
an oil port. It's not an oil.
Well,
kind of-
like we get oil from other countries, but I think now we're focusing on reserves. But
gas is
Saudi
like
Arabia.
$1.90 in Texas.
yeah, it's like $2.25 here.
Yeah, it's cheap
yeah, but
no,
how
I
much is that
understand. I get
for?
that.
A gallon?
But
for a gallon. Yes.
for a gallon,
What the
yeah.
fuck? That's like 4 liters. We'll pay like
Yeah.
£5 for that shit, which is probably about $7.50.
Yeah. They get destroyed on gas over there in the UK.
Yeah.
That's
Fuck
why.
that.
Brexit.
Well, they
but
have a
public
great-
transportation.
They have great public transit, and we do
No.
not.
London does. That's it.
Yeah, but that's London's the only thing that matters.
But I can get easily from London to Liverpool without a hassle,
That's
right?
it.
You try and get back at midnight. Ain't happening.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't. Okay, hold on. It doesn't matter if there's. I mean, it does matter if there's crime, but like either way, you could still do it hypothetically.
Hmm.
It's
How
just
much would that trip cost?
yeah.
London to Liverpool and back, or just
Well,
Yeah, let's say round trip.
Round
What?
trip.
Or
driving yourself
No,
or
no, no.
public transport?
public transport. like
both.
How much?
78 quid.
It depends. If you book in advance and use one of these fancy sites that do the cheap things, you could get it as low as like £9.
See,
That's not bad.
that's like
And just go to
$13 maybe.
That's nothing for us. That would be a fun trip for us.
Yeah,
But
that's
we
like me
can't
going to New
necessarily
York
do
City.
But it'd take probably twice as long as driving, like, in your own vehicle.
Really?
Yeah, you got...
no chance.
Oh, train. Yeah, okay.
Train is what. Yeah,
I was thinking...
from Liverpool to London. Fuck off.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can, but why the fuck would you?
I don't know, but that's what I was thinking. I don't know why I thought of a bus.
Because you're a mountain.
Because you used to drive one.
Maybe.
See,
The wheels on the bus go round and round.
the public transit system in the city that I live in is connected to the university, the college. It's weird that the university, the college provides public transit for the entire city, or for the it's kind of the entire city. Yeah,
Really?
See,
it's weird.
Do they
public
get?
transit.
Do they earn money from it then?
I mean, yeah,
Well, there you
but
go.
it
then.
goes to the school, not necessarily I mean, if the school decides to donate to the city or whatever, I don't know. It's different. It's completely different. It's weird.
Yeah, it goes to the school because they're providing it. They provide the buses. They provide the drivers. They provide
Yeah.
the routes.
Yeah, but it doesn't go back into the public.
It's-
That's
no,
what I'm
it
saying. It
don't.
goes into the school.
What, you think it does here?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if it's public transit, it should go into the public,
Hell
domain.
to the
because that's what
motherfucking
that's what it
no.
should pay for.
Goes straight into Boris Johnson's back pocket.
Yeah, and that's Boris fucking Johnson. Let's get that.
Well, there's
Okay.
actual buses over here called Boris buses.
Yeah, he came up with the idea.
Oh,
Are they
okay.
still in commission?
Yes, they are. Yeah. Well,
I don't think
actually,
the- I don't think they
no,
are.
not the bendy ones. They're the new style old route masters. That's the
Wasn't
one.
he?
The EL
was
buses?
Was Boris Johnson the one that took the ads out on the buses that said we paid £3 million?
Yes.
Okay,
That
yeah,
was him, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, Cap, you wanted to talk about politics. I mean,
Oh,
Oh, we can talk about Brexit again.
what time are we at, Jay? I don't want to go over too long.
Mate,
mate,
go over.
we've been,
I'm
this
all
is
for
special.
Brexit again. Let's do it.
All right. I'm ready. I'm ready because you guys got your own version of the Cheeto right now. So
About too much whiskey. Let's go.
What the what's it?
You have your British Donald Trump, which is
yeah, exactly.
Still,
Boris Johnson.
Okay.
I don't know. I kind of want to defend Boris a little bit.
By all means.
you
We have
do what you
a
want to do.
we have a liberal and a libertarian from America.
I'm a liberal from the UK.
And I don't know
Okay.
what the fuck I am. I think I'm an helicopter.
I wouldn't put it past the UK to have a helicopter party. Let's be honest. You have like 30 different parties in Parliament, and they all go rubble, 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 rubble,
One of the parties who legit do kind of well every year is called the Monster Raving Loony Party. Like,
So
they're not.
let's just start with some of the latest news from over there that I've heard. Boris Johnson broke the law by asking the Queen to suspend Parliament for the 5 weeks leading up to Brexit. Go.
It didn't break the law.
Mm-hmm.
It was considered unlawful.
Unlawful, but there was no law
Yeah, he didn't
to
break
say
the
that he
law,
broke
but was
it.
like,
because
"Hey,
there was
what's
no
up,
law.
man? Don't do that. Kind of.
Just like President Trump may have called the president of Ukraine.
Oh, he called him.
He definitely called it.
The
but may
thing
have
that's up for-
coerced him to meddle in the election.
Tried to get information on the Bidens.
Right.
Ooh.
Trying to investigate them. To,
That's about this.
to make smoke screens to make him look like Hillary.
Would it be accurate in saying that's basically like the same amount of unlawfulness? I mean, it's not really like. Okay.
I don't think it's the same.
Do you watch the show Friends? Because it's like
still
when
on?
Ross was dating his student, and he's like, "Well, it's not allowed. It's not
It's
banned,
not-
but it's
It's not
It's
allowed.
frowned upon.
right. It's frowned upon. Right. So I feel like that's kind of the situation,
Right.
and I don't think it's any grounds for impeachment. Let's face it. I
Who's
really
back?
don't think
Talking Donald or Boris?
Donald,
Okay.
Donny boy.
So
Donny
Donald
boy.
was dating the dude from, and it was frowned upon.
Dating David Schwimmer. Confirmed.
Yeah. But I think it's ridiculous that we're even entertaining an impeachment right now because we have so many bigger things going on.
Mm-hmm.
How much, like, how
And-
consuming is an impeachment?
It's in the news every day.
Hold on, this is something I don't understand.
everything.
Was Bill Clinton impeached?
No.
He was not impeached from office. They went through an impeachment inquiry, which they found him not guilty, or what was it? No, it was. There's another term for it, but it's basically not guilty. They found that he wasn't. No reason to take him out of office is basically what it was. But right now, it's just an inquiry. It's not an actual like impeachment process. That's what he's What I think is trying to happen is they're trying to force an impeachment vote, which would start the impeachment stuff. But what they're just doing right now is they're just trying to get more information about.
They're gathering evidence, basically.
They're trying to gather the evidence, which I mean.
And if they can get enough, they can go through with it. If they can't, then obviously it's just a whitewash. And no,
well,
sorry.
yeah, and I mean, this is the whole point of the Congress is checks and balances. Like we're supposed to keep the people in power in check, and they're just going to fight each other. I mean, the annoying thing is that a lot of this, no matter what, this is because of the election.
Right, of course. I mean,
it's
everything has to do with election right now. Everything. This whole year is leading up to election year.
This is basically we were in 2020 and 2018. After midterms, 2020 is everything. That is, 2019 doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
That's why our election cycles are so long, is because it's every 2 years, which it's never ending. It's always an election year, basically.
It's leading up to an election cycle or leading off of an election cycle.
Yeah, people just don't care in the midterms because it's not the presidential vote.
Right.
How often are our general elections? Because I feel like it's never as big a deal as you lot's elections are.
Oh my God, it's huge over here.
But then, to be honest, I don't know, because I don't know.
Dan, have you ever even voted?
I have voted, yeah.
He voted for Boris.
Here's the thing.
Just kidding. Nobody voted for Boris.
When the Brexit thing came up, I feel like that was the most mature decision I've ever made. When the Brexit vote was, are you leave or are you remain? You know what I voted?
We don't want to know. Keep that to yourself.
I'm going to tell you.
I mean,
I'm going to tell you both. Okay, I'm going to tell all three of you rather. I didn't.
He didn't vote
because I didn't understand. I feel like that was the
that's the problem. And that's the problem I feel like with a lot of.
I wasn't offered the information. I didn't really understand. There was some information there. They were like, "Oh, we'll clamp down on immigration and this and that."
You've got the interweb. You could have researched yourself.
It wasn't out there. It's
but on the ballots, do they like shorten it? Do they like put a little synopsis of the actual description, what's going on? Right.
And
it's one sentence.
No, it's name a box.
I did like a quiz online of like, what are your policies? And it must have been 30, 40 questions of what do you believe in? Are you strongly against this? Are you strongly agree with this? Blah, blah, blah. And it brought up who I should vote for, which I probably shouldn't name, and I won't for that reason.
Cool.
It wasn't a nationalist party or anything super right wing, so don't be worried about that. But I was just like, okay, I'm not going to vote for these people because I just don't know.
The internet told me so.
Yeah. But it was just what I agreed with, what I didn't agree with, a lot of left-wing things.
Like Cap was saying, we have Congress for that. We have the Senate. And right now, Congress is ran by the Democrats, and the Senate is ran by Republicans. So, yeah, the Congress can cause all the rubble they want, and then the Senate just knocks it down. So it's just basically noise.
That's because
in Congress,
the Senate, the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, which is the guy I've told you many times, he looks like a turkey.
Yeah, I've googled him. It's weird.
I've told you.
He looks like a slightly frightened owl.
And yeah, he has a turkey gobble, but also is a turtle, like turtle face with turkey gobble.
If anyone really listening, you've got to Google Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell picture. Anyways, he self-described himself as a grim reaper of Democratic bills, of anything that's Democratic. So that's him coming out and saying that he will not help or do anything to help. All he wants to do is impede. So
You
what
love-
kind of leadership or anything is that? I understand. I'm not just bashing Republicans or whatever, but like, because Democrats, that's I mean, come on, like that's what this is, the impeachment inquiry. It's all for the election too. Not saying that Trump didn't do it, because he totally could have. We just don't know the information yet. But
They released that transcript months ago before any of this was brought up.
mhm.
And I feel like it was analyzed by experts and they just kind of went meh. But we have all the noisemakers in the House right now, and they want to just cause trouble for Donald Trump because it's election year, so they're going to dig up any dirt they can and throw it in his face. And the news is going to be nothing but impeachment because it's
Mushroom willies.
it's a big it's a big scary word.
According to Stormy Daniels, allegedly.
I mean,
I
well,
mean, he
guys-
totally paid her. That was real.
oh no, that happened.
That totally happened.
No, I don't doubt it, but allegedly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Well, I don't want to get kicked off air or anything.
There's-
You never know.
But now there's, I mean, recently the other day, Giuliani's two of Rudy
Oh,
Giuliani's his
yeah.
lawyers got. He's about to be
Spanked
spanked
hard.
hard. But his clients, he himself. I mean, the thing, like, it's just, I don't see Trump being innocent, and just at all. I just don't see it.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, because everybody getting indicted up in here.
Everybody's getting indicted.
So what's the key issue? Like, why is Trump, like, putting aside like the hate? And this is all allegedly, but putting aside the xenophobia maybe and the
Racism
right-wing
and-
rooms and
yeah.
the racism and whatever and the build the wall and the whatever. Why? What is the main key reason why people want Trump impeached? Like impeachment.
It's the
people want him out.
two-party system. It's the two-party system. Democrats
It's
hate
literally
everything
just
Republican.
fuck Republicans, fuck Democrats. It's
Right,
just that
because-
situation.
He told everyone during his campaign that he was going to, quote, drain the swamp, which it means he was going to get rid of everybody and replace them with his people.
which is a cult of personality.
But it's a Republican strategy move. Any
Yeah.
Republican that got into office would have done the same exact thing.
Yeah, Democrats would have done the same. I mean,
And Democrats
like
would have
the-
replaced any Republicans.
the Supreme Court justices, like stuff like that. You know, like that, like the judges. You remember, like he's putting forth all these Republican
I
judges.
don't
and stuff
remember
like that.
people crying impeachment when Obama was in power.
Oh, people
They
were.
people were.
I'm sure people were, but this is front page news every fucking
Mm,
day. It
it's
wasn't
big.
with Obama.
It's. I'm
Obviously,
positive
Trump
it's
is more
different.
controversial. So
He's
just-
more news friendly, if you will, because he constantly is giving people ammunition to go against him.
constantly tweets something fucking stupid.
Constantly tweeting something stupid, and he acting like a child and all that. Which I'm not going to back off that whatsoever. I think he should just be removed from Twitter altogether. Then the news would have nothing to talk about.
Why would
let's
his
face
PR person continue to let him tweet?
Because it's
Publicity.
getting his name out there. Yeah, there's
Yes.
no bad press.
No, there's no such thing as
There's
bad
no-
press. Not when
no-
you're as high
yeah.
profile like that.
This is what I always say. In a 2-hour debate between politicians, you don't need to be good for 2 hours. You don't need to be good for 1 hour. You don't need to be good for half an hour. You need to have a couple of quick,
Sound bites.
good sound bites, and
The
that's it.
same is true for this show.
Correct.
Ooh. Nick, I've
Mhm.
recently I recently showed Dan Elizabeth Warren.
Oh
What do you
God.
think about Elizabeth Warren?
Well, okay, so I
So cool.
hail from where she used to rule over. Let's say it that way, I guess. But I think she's terrible.
Terrible.
I can't stand her.
That's so sad.
I'm kind of half and half on her right now. I feel like
Oh.
she's too librarian at the moment, but she's kind of cool also. She's witty. She's witty as fuck.
She's very smart. She's very intelligent.
Like the thing
She's smart, but she said some dumb stuff.
the clip you
Who
sent me-
hasn't said dumb stuff?
She said
mean,
some dumb
Trump-
stuff.
Trump literally said I would grab her by the pussy. That's some pretty dumb shit.
About her.
So in comparison,
not about her.
in
Wait.
compa- No, not about
Not
her. Not
about
about
her.
her. Not about her. Not about her. But in comparison, that's some pretty stupid ass shit compared to probably some some little like
He can try, but there's just a black hole in there. Just
you just can't beat the idiocracy that is the Donald.
Donald himself.
Yeah, but
Like,
that's why we love him so much.
That's also the reason why half of America hates him. Or
You
actually,
hate,
it's
you
more
love to hate him.
You
People
love to
hate him.
yeah. He's that
He's a
hateable,
troll.
lovable villain.
He's a troll.
The thing I love about Elizabeth Warren,
He's the
from what
king
I've seen-
troll.
He is. From what I've seen of Elizabeth Warren, is a few clips, basically a few of her little like segments. So obviously a few of her sound bites. The one that Cap sent me, I can't remember exactly what she said. It was to do with marriage. A dude was said to her something like,
What would you say if I came up to you
and said, "Oh, I believe a marriage is between one man and one woman." And she replied something like, "Well, marry." She was said, "I will assume it was a man who said that. Well, then just marry one woman."
Just marry one woman.
And obviously, he was expecting her to give her complete opinion on gay marriage, but he asked the complete wrong question. So she just gave him the answer of his wrong question, and he was like, "Oh."
Okay.
And it was just so quick of her to just be like, "Wrong question. Here's your answer to that wrong question. It's a wrong answer. It's the right answer to your wrong question. Fuck you," kind of thing. It was just so.
But does that mean we should put her in power as the president of the United States?
It's a sound clip that's funny.
It was just wicked. And that's how president.
That's how modern day politics work. It's the person it's a popularity contest too.
And
So
she
go ahead.
I was going to say she just said far more witty things than anyone on.
Yeah, because Donald isn't witty. He doesn't know many words.
He doesn't. And do we want him controlling basically the strongest country in the world?
And like
But,
that
okay.
SNL thing said, most of the Democratic runners so far are just fucking spouting that the fact that they can speak Spanish and people think they love that. I like Mexicans. Listen to my Spanish.
Oh, it's so cringy.
Like,
That's so
absolutely
cringy.
Fine, you can speak
Bad.
Spanish. You respect Mexicans, cool, but stop.
I have a question for Captain Stash here.
What's up, my dude?
So, in your opinion, what does it take to make a president? You know, what would it take for the perfect president? Because you need some sort of drama in there. You need something, a platform that causes a stir. You can't just be bland. So in your mind, what is the ideal president? It's a pretty tough question.
I mean, yeah, it's a pretty tough question because I mean, there's no perfect candidate. There's no perfect there's not going to be somebody that has all of these qualities. Like, and not even Obama was the most perfect. He didn't play ball. I mean, he played ball for too long instead of being like, okay, well, I'm the president, I can do this.
Right.
But so like, I mean, the basic would be like, strong, obviously, but like that's just that's the basic introduction. I don't know, witty, smart, somebody who is very personable. And I'm not going to say like, oh, I want to have a beer with that person, because the likelihood of me having a beer with one of those people is 0 to none.
But that's important. Would you have a beer with Trump?
No.
He doesn't drink.
Would you have a beer with Obama?
I'd have a beer with Obama.
I would like to.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever have a chance to.
You wouldn't have a beer with Trump.
No.
Come on, man! Imagine
wouldn't
the
want to.
shenanigans.
I wouldn't have a beer with. The whole beer would be him talking about himself, and me.
That's the comparison you've got to
and
make.
I'm just like, do I get to talk?
Yeah.
If you touch me, is your skin gonna come like the color gonna come off on mine? Like what? Like, is your hair gonna jump off and it jump like aliens suck on my face? Like, I don't know.
All right.
Its hair does look like a face hugger. I never realized that.
We've been talking about America for a minute here, so let's switch the script over here. Let's talk about Mr. Johnson. Now, your people, British people, have been calling for his resignation ever since the allegations of him asking the Queen to suspend Parliament. They said, get him out of there. And if he gets kicked out soon, then he will be the shortest running prime minister
of all time
ever. Right. So let's talk about Mr. Johnson real quick. So he started the whole Brexit talk basically on a lie.
Him and Nigel.
What, him believing that he was, him saying that he voted for Leave and that he was firmly Leave.
He was a Remainer, wasn't he?
No,
Originally, he was a Remainer.
Really?
Yes.
I think
Because
so, yeah.
I was under the assumption that he just took those things out on the buses that said we pay the EU £3 million.
So
was Theresa May. She was a Remainer as well.
Yep. So when the Conservative leadership race began, when Theresa May was first like, well, Theresa May's gone, it's time for everyone to start sort of going for it, there was only one Remainer in that race, and that was Dominic Raab. And that's why, if for some reason he was still second, eliminated from the running over Rory McCann, who I think would have been a really good Prime Minister, just because he was the complete opposite to the rest of them. But originally Boris was a Remainer, I believe.
I'm pretty sure he was.
Yeah. Obviously, he knew that the majority vote was Leave, so he jumped on that wagon, probably. And yeah, and I brought up an article just now. So it's important for anyone who doesn't know to note that when a Prime Minister asks for the Queen's approval for something, it doesn't fucking matter. She has no power. Her opinion does not matter. I love the Queen, don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of the royal family. But her opinion doesn't matter. She has no power. So this is a little snippet I've got from this article. It says, optimistic and ambitious. Both are probably incorrect, really. But, you know. About a dozen British officials, including the UK's EU advisor David Frost, are taking part in what has been described as intense technical discussions at the EU Commission in Brussels this weekend in an attempt to secure a new Brexit deal. A Downing Street source said, "We've always wanted a deal. It is good to see progress, but we will wait to see if this is a genuine breakthrough. We are a long way away from a final deal, and the weekend and next week remain official to leaving with a deal on October 31st. We remain prepared to leave with or without a deal on October 31st. With or without a deal is probably the key statement in there, because obviously without a deal means fuck everyone, bad. And that's the thing. We don't produce anything.
Food shortages.
Right. You need trade. You need trade.
So this is the thing. I believe that Brexit, I believe that leaving without a deal could very well be a good thing in the long run.
It will hurt us in the beginning.
It will fucking cripple us.
It will.
It will. In the maybe even the first decade, it will fucking hurt.
A decade.
Yeah, well, maybe not that long, but
how low do you think the pound will go in the
low as fuck.
World market?
Yeah,
low as fuck. It's already dropped like 81% in the last like year.
Damn.
So it's kind of like the dollar. I think was like $1.30 to every £1. Now I think it's like $1.08 to every pound or something.
So when you come over, Nick, you'll be loving it.
Yeah,
I'll stock up.
It's almost straight exchange.
Get all that black currant juice you can. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I honestly believe that leaving without a deal could be in our best interest in the long run for people who, I don't know, for very young people who don't have to worry about that kind of thing and spending, and it could be the best thing for them.
Do you know what I think with all this, right? Because obviously the European countries are opposing it. They want the most out of this deal that they can get. So basically, what I personally think for this is, if they just let us go without a fight, the European Union is going to break down, and they're going to think, well, Britain's done it. Every other country's going to start falling out of it, left, right, and centre. That's what the biggest thing is here. So they're coming together, uniting. You know, we are probably, well, I don't know how many other countries in the European thing that keep our own currency. Like, most of them are with the euro now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just, do you know what? Do you want to know what I honestly think of it all? It can fuck off, because it's getting on my fucking nerves. Hurry up and sort it out.
Do you know what? I'm so happy recently for the last 2 years. Has it been 2 years, David Cameron?
It's been since 2016.
Yeah, so at least for the last 2 years, it's been Brexit, this deal, that deal. Theresa May's a wanker. Theresa May's not a wanker. She's got a vote of no confidence. She survived the vote of no confidence. Oh, she's got another vote of no confidence. She survived it again, just barely by the skin of her teeth. Now she's gone because she's resigned. Blah, blah, blah. Brexit. Her deal was bad. Boris's deal was bad. Boris actually turns out to be a wanker, even though everyone voted for him. And now Trump's getting impeached, maybe. And I'm so happy that it's not Brexit on the front page. It's Trump.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Just instead you take over with the real Cheeto.
Yeah.
So
Senor
Okay.
Cheeto.
one of the biggest things with Brexit is the border between North and South Ireland.
Ireland, yeah. That's real bad.
And the fact that you guys would have to get all new passports. I mean,
Yeah.
they would have to change all the checkpoints. They'd have to, all of Europe would have to be ready to accept the people from the UK into a separate line or whatever. They have to separate it. It's going to affect
The
all these other countries.
the money to change everything is going to hurt everything because you won't have trade, you won't have a deal to get money to come in, so you won't have anything to pay to go out. It's like, to
And you
me,
really don't have much to offer.
But there's
bad.
other countries in the world that we can still deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
Special relationship.
are they
Remember that?
our special relationship?
Don't forget
Yeah,
about us. We love you.
yeah,
Remember when
Allies and all that.
World War II?
yeah. Oh, you're gonna need
Oh, boy.
oil at some point. What? You're gonna need medicine at some point. You need food.
We can eat stale bread and we're going
Ooh, you can, so Jay, what you're saying is you're gonna eat a crumpet without toasting it.
That's been left for a few weeks.
Full circle, my friend. Full circle.
Perfectly edible. Perfectly edible.
But yeah, I'm
shit.
all for globalization, and that's so Britain staying in the EU is me being all part of that globalization, NAFTA, all that stuff.
NATO.
I'm NATO. Well, NAFTA is something else.
So you think we should remain in it?
I think you
Globalization.
should.
So,
I think you should.
So if you had the opportunity, you'd let America join that then?
America is.
We're
part
not
of-
European Union. So
No, but I'm
we're
just
not in
saying,
the-
you said
we're not European.
globalization.
Well, we are trading globally. That's what I'm saying. Trading globally. So if you guys have deals like that, that's going to make things pass easier. It's going to make trade easier instead of having to renegotiate every time.
So it's
Like
like
the
right
U.S. is
now.
doing with China right now, and we're fucking our farmers over left and right.
But don't forget, this is the thing that people forget. In the 50s, 60s, 70s, even before then, Britain, the UK, was doing its own thing. We was importing mass stuff. We was making steel. We was doing all this, that, and the other. It's just so happens
Farmland. Now,
that
all that farmland-
exactly. Yeah, which can be done. It'll give people jobs. This is one of the things, yeah. So we're gonna have probably trouble with gas and electric because it comes from France and stuff like that. Germany are still using fossil fuels, coal in particular.
Yeah, well,
Fuck them for doing that.
they're scaling that back.
But what they've done, they've created something now within their cooling towers or whatever it is, and they are reusing the emissions so it produces less emissions. We can open up our coal mines again, and we can do the same sort of shit.
After all Margaret Thatcher went through, you're gonna make her do that? You gonna make us do that?
Yeah, but it'll be more automated now. We've got the technology to do that. We haven't got to send people down there. It'll be automated.
Coal's a dead industry. It's just not growing.
But it's in abundance in the UK still.
That's true. They closed the Theresa,
There'll be so many jobs created. It'll take a long time to get it up and running again.
and it would be so much safer.
Yeah.
But there's also the climate change stuff that you got, the deals that you guys are a part of that you have to
How
abide by.
dare
lower
you ruin my childhood?
I don't make fun of her.
Nah, she.
Nice.
Do you know what? Actually, she's got rights, and good for her because she's the only one that's standing up, and she's only young.
I don't think she should win the Nobel Peace Prize, but
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, she has a point.
there's
She's
plenty more people who have done more than said, "You're ruining my my
Here's a
job."
conspiracy for you.
but we
Love it.
Self-sustaining country. The thing is, it was just right. This is being all and end all.
We were a self-sustaining country. Did you say?
Well, we used to produce stuff.
We used to be.
Yeah.
Used to.
Yeah.
How is the modern generation going to want to go back to that?
British people are lazy.
Correct.
So are Americans.
So it's like we're not going to go out and be getting
and it was cheaper to import.
The 360 million lazy people is better than 77 million lazy people, wherever it is.
But you guys you weren't always a part of the EU. This is a relatively new thing for you.
It's the new world order.
That's why I feel like,
George,
if we do leave with no deal and everyone just says, "Oh, fuck you, our deals are over,"
we'll get over it eventually.
We'll be like, "Hey, yo, America, want to hook us up?" And you guys will be like, "No, for the right price." And eventually things will kind of balance themselves out. That's why it's going to fucking hurt.
We'll pay more taxes because you'll have to have it imported to you and then you sell it back to us.
But instead of going by Brussels deals, we can go by our own deals.
You thought VAT was bad now.
20%, bro. Do you know we only used to pay 15%?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, we used to pay 15%. Then something happened, the recession hit, and they dropped it down to maybe 12%, or maybe I might have had that figures wrong, but they dropped it down a bit. And then to compensate for it, they said, okay, we'll get through this recession, we'll drop it down, give everybody an easy sort of life. People still lost like livelihoods and all that shit anyway, moving forward. And they said to recompensate for it, we're going to bang up to 20%. It's not always been 20%, you know, but
I only ever remember 20%. This is the thing. Jay, who was the very first prime minister you remember vividly being in power and hearing about prime minister?
It must have been Maggie Thatcher in the 80s, early 80s.
Like what? So what was it? We got Boris, Theresa May, David Cameron, Gordon Brown,
John Major, and Tony Blair.
Before Gordon Brown, I don't remember. Oh no, Tony Blair. I remember
Tony Blair.
Vaguely. So
Who was it before? There was someone. I'm sure there was another geezer.
Bill Clinton. Yeah.
Do you guys have like term limits for your PMs?
this is what I was going to say. I don't know.
I don't think they do.
About general election.
Yeah, is it every 4 years a general?
I feel like it might be more than that.
No, it's not.
No.
I thought whenever I asked about a general election, you said it determines on whenever they decide to have a general election.
No.
So Gordon Brown, like, I feel like for the longest time it was nothing but Labour, which are like the super. They probably wouldn't admit this themselves, but they're the super left wing.
Let me find out. You lot carry on.
I feel like even with what I always say with Theresa May, I feel like she could have been a great prime minister, but she just became prime minister in a really fucking painful time when Brexit.
They handed her Brexit and she failed.
David Cameron was like, people want to stay in the EU. Do you know what? To prove it, I'll cast a vote. And then people were like, actually, we don't. And he was like, peace out. I'm not part of this anymore.
So a bit of a side note, just we were talking about Obama before. Do you remember, I believe it was during Obama, or was it George Bush, with the stimulus package that everyone got? It's like, I think everyone got like $1,500 or something like that, just like a check in the mail. Everyone got like either a check for $700 or $1,500.
Was this is after 2008?
No, it was before.
Before,
it was like,
so then it was a George W. Bush.
It must have been.
Because he was the one who bailed out the banks.
So when we got the checks, they were expected. They're like, oh well, spend the money, you know, it put it back into the economy, and what everyone did was pay off their credit card debt. Like I guarantee a high percentage of people just paid off debt. It was just out of the blue, basically. It was just like stimulus. Hey, we're gonna bump start the economy. Here's some money. Go and spend it on something frivolous.
How does
and
that
everyone
bump start the economy?
Everyone paid off credit card debt.
It's just taking the money and putting it back into like the local, like going to your local grocer or something, like grocery store or something like that.
$700, get some groceries.
Yeah.
I'm sure a general election is every 4 years, but unlike America, you can be re-elected and re-elected and re-elected and re-elected.
Yeah, so they don't have term limits.
Oh, so if, say, for example,
Boris could be PM until he dies.
If they vote in for him.
If he keeps getting it.
He's got to win the votes each time. But ain't yours the president can only be 2 terms?
8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that, you know? I feel like if the people voted on one, that should be that.
It used to be. And then after the greatest president around, FDR, He
Sounds like you don't agree.
he got voted in like 4 times,
4 times.
and then 4 different terms, and then he
16 years.
I think it
It's-
was it George Washington? They wanted him to be president for life, and
Yeah.
after a while, he's just like, no, I can't anymore.
yeah
So he just basically
It's-
gave it up. But he actually wanted to push for term limits, like back then. He's like, no one should be in this much power for this long. But at the same time, the president had much more power than he does now.
yeah
Because even all these executive orders that Trump signs really don't mean anything. I hate to say it, but they really don't mean anything because there's still other steps that has to happen before it goes into effect.
like it's just it's just a ploy to try to make the voters be like, show the voters that he's done something. It's just one of those things.
So I can remember as far back as Maggie Thatcher.
Maggie.
30, isn't it?
Div 79 to 90, she right like rain, but she was. So
Okay.
there's only been from Maggie Thatcher there was John Major, Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, Cameron, Theresa May, and now your mate Boris.
Mr. Fuzzy Hair.
Have you noticed he hasn't fluffed his hair as much since he became PM?
He's been getting it kind of neat now. He's
neat because he's PM. He
it's
can't
still
do
a
that shit no
Still a
more.
fucking mess, but
Yeah.
Bird's nest.
I mean, how can you fucking fix that hair? I mean,
He takes a page from Trump's book.
he takes a page from Bernie's book.
Oh, Bernie. He won't win. He's
Oh
not
no,
gonna win.
no. It's not that I want Bernie to win. It's that I like Bernie.
What about
It's that-
Yang? Andrew Yang.
I don't like Yang.
is this the
'Cause
guy?
I do not want Silicon Valley in the White House.
Is he from Miami?
He's big tech. He's from California.
What's wrong with big tech?
Big tech.
wanna be
Do
a
you want
cyborg.
Facebook to own America?
I want to be a
Google.
cyborg.
Google.
No, Google.
Innovation.
I'm just
Amazon.
I don't want they already
1
control
minute.
our legislation. Walmart.
Hello, Nick.
Exactly.
Big.
I want to
tech.
change my haircut.
No. I'm just.
Dan-
I'm not. It's.
That's
scares
why his
me.
name is Dandoumir.
But like
He just took some boogers and just.
But you know who really should be PM? Jeremy Corbyn.
Gordon Ramsay.
No, Jeremy
Gordon.
Corbyn.
Gordon Ramsay.
What the fuck are you doing?
Fuck out.
Get the fuck out!
It's fucking raw.
You're an idiot sandwich.
Oh shit, that's quality.
They should do it like Love Island. That's how you should elect your PMs.
You are never coming on this show again.
Love Island is the biggest load
So-
of shit in the world.
That is it.
So-
no one engage with him no more.
Cap. Love
Don't
Island
engage
is,
with-
is like Jersey Shore.
Don't engage with him.
Or the
Or
Kardashians.
kind of like Big Brother, or like something like that. It's a
Fucking
bunch of
the real
drunk,
world.
yeah, exactly. A bunch of drunk young
Stupid.
people like causing their own drama.
I ain't about it. I hate it.
It sounds like the vape industry.
It eats my
yeah,
fucking.
exactly, yeah. But
God.
okay, Cap. Also, they have a show over there called Google Box, and it's
Oh
literally
yeah, it's
people
people
watch-
watching
Goggle.
people.
oh,
yeah,
it's
I've seen it.
Goggle. Okay, whatever.
Gogglebox.
I fell
I've
asleep
seen
to that.
it. I wish we had a show like that because that'd be hilarious.
Gogglebox is sick.
Well, I'm saying
It
like
is.
in a,
I
like
like
a, an American version of it. It would be freaking so funny.
They'd
They
all
get-
weigh 400+ pounds.
And yeah, they'd all weigh
Yeah.
400+ pounds. It would also be better just because it was made.
Do you
for
know they
Americans.
get-
just like
they
The
actually-
Office?
Do you know what Just Eat is?
Just eat.
Yeah.
It's,
It's like post
Order.
Deliveroo or
It's
yeah.
like
Oh,
it's like
it's
Deliveroo for
Grubhub.
food.
DoorDash.
Grubhub,
Right.
DoorDash. Yeah.
So they get when on the days when they're filming, they get unlimited Just Eat.
Damn.
That's amazing.
Sounds great.
And
It's
they
like their
get-
craft services.
They get paid.
I'd order KFC, but they always get it fucking wrong. So you'd have to order the same order 6 times to get
Bro,
it.
how can you get it wrong? It's chicken.
Have you ever ordered? Hold on. Have you ever ordered the Barking KFC?
KFC
on Just-
chicken.
It's chicken.
The Barking
K-
KFC on Just Eat. They always get it wrong.
But what are you ordering apart from chicken?
Okay, so I always order a boneless banquet. Yeah,
Boneless chicken?
which includes a portion of fries, three crispy chicken strips,
3
That's-
chicken strips.
small portion of popcorn chicken,
Yeah.
and a pot of gravy. Yeah.
Right. Chicken
There's
gravy.
There's always 2 chicken strips. It's always a tiny portion of fries. And I'll also always order like 8 wings or something.
Mate,
because
they
I'm
have not got it wrong. Your delivery driver is not getting tipped enough and he's taking the strips out of there.
He's like, fuck this guy. He's ordering 5 minutes before we close.
Fuck that, dude.
Fuck
And
this
he's a-
guy. These are my strips.
And he's a shit tipper.
That's tax.
At least I tip. I'll say that. But it's always wrong. There's always 6 strips instead of 8, or 1 crispy strip instead of 1, and the portion of fries is tiny. Or I've ordered like a portion of ketchup and they've given me like sweet and sour sauce or something.
Mate, do.
Wankers. Fucking wankers.
Exactly. In America, we just bitch and moan about that.
You'd sue them. You'd sue them.
You know what? I wouldn't put it past him. I could see
Yeah.
that as a headline.
Well, at least
Florida
you ain't,
man sues.
you ain't got to wait 60
Florida
hours
man.
in a queue.
Hey, if you just type in Florida man, I'm sure you'll find it.
Type in Florida man and your birthday. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I've done that. It's so good. Mine was like, dude robs pet store of 6
I'm
puppies
going to
or
do it
something.
now.
Florida man robs pet store of 6
Okay,
puppies.
while we're waiting for him to do that, guys, the definition of bitters.
Oh.
Bitters is traditionally an alcoholic preparation flavored with botanical matter, so that the end result is characterized as a bitter, sour, or bittersweet flavor.
Say that again.
The bitters is traditionally an alcoholic preparation flavored with botanical matter, so that the end result is characterized by a bitter, sour, or bittersweet flavor.
Herbs.
That means fucking nothing.
Herbs.
Herbs.
Bitterness
Alcohol-
is bitter.
Herbs and
basically.
spices.
So what, like basil? and
And,
Basil.
Anstrosia bitters are extremely concentrated and may be an acquired taste, though. 44.7% alcohol by volume, bitters are not normally ingested undiluted.
Yeah, it's a dash.
shit? So
Literally.
you pour them in whiskey.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
this,
What is it? Old fashioned, Vermont,
Is that better?
mouth, and sour. There's a bunch of them, bunch of different drinks.
so this Florida man thing, is it an
Yeah.
actual Florida man website?
No, it's
No, just take the
there's so
first
much-
result on Google.
Yeah,
The
there's
first,
so
just,
It
So many
says
news
my
headlines.
birthday.ninja.
maybe.
What?
Yeah.
let me
Mine-
type in mine and see what happens.
Wait, what's your birthday, Jay? Let me try and find it.
No, it's all right, mate.
September 5th.
1943.
Fuck you.
Florida man.
Told you not to engage with him.
September 5th. Florida man caught nearly 200 illegal lobsters. A Florida man landed in jail Tuesday after police caught him with nearly 200 illegally harvested lobster tails in his car. A Middle Keys deputy stopped Jordi Escalante Carrillo, 25, of a Marathon Tuesday night for a traffic infraction. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office says Carrillo was driving with a car with an unreliable tag. During the traffic stop, the deputy told Carrillo he could smell marijuana in the car. Carrillo didn't understand because he only spoke Spanish. A Spanish-speaking sergeant arrived to help translate, and Carrillo denied having anything illegal in the car. During a search of the vehicle, the deputy found a large plastic container filled with wrung lobster tails. Carrillo admitted the lobsters were his and that he had speared them all that night. 200 tails, yeah? Fuck off, Carrillo, you. For possession of 191 speared lobster, possession of 150 undersized lobsters, and possession of 185 over-the-limit lobsters. The legal limit for legally sized harvested lobsters in Monroe County is 6. And he had 191.
Damn.
He was
Yeah.
stoned. He just couldn't count.
Too much. Good.
You guys want to hear? You guys want to hear my Florida man one?
Absolutely.
It's pretty funny. Florida man confesses to cops. Says Jesus told me to drive Ferrari 360 off Kia. In quotations. Jesus made me the smartest man on earth, and it is so hard to have this much responsibility. The 48-year-old man reported to the police.
NASCAR.
He just wanted to go fast.
He just wanted to go fast. Ricky Bobby just wanted to go fast.
If you ain't first, you're last.
You ain't first, you're last.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
so mine is Florida man kills in-laws after posing as their murdered daughter for a year. After posing as their murdered daughter for a year in text messages, Florida man then killed his in-laws, police say. Police say 25-year-old John Shelby Neely confessed to killing his 21-year-old wife, Jean. Okay, this is kind of dark.
Yeah.
At the time, the slain woman's parents grew suspicious and concerned for their daughter's health. WFLA, anyone know what that is? I don't.
It's a
So on
channel on TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on December 15th, Neely killed Jamie's parents, identified as 59-year-old Laura Ivanich and 71-year-old Richard Ivanich, along with their 25-year-old brother. Okay, this is not funny, just kind of...
No, okay, so look,
just
Dan. It's more about the headline. It's more about the
Yeah.
Okay.
Florida
Florida
man
man
kills
kills-
really
Florida
funny.
man, Florida man kills in-laws after posing as their murdered daughter for a year.
Well, you've got to do yours.
That's
now,
not funny at all, though.
That's
And
not
this,
funny.
This dude,
It's
the funny
really
thing is,
dark.
this dude has a beard, so he poses as a daughter with a beard. That's the funny part.
Hey, mom and dad.
via text message.
Yeah. Obvious. Okay, yeah, it makes more sense, I guess.
Yeah. So
Thank you
that's
for that.
what. Yeah. Just because usually the Florida, for some reason, has crazy.
Why was Jay's whole one so funny? I don't get it.
I don't even like lobster.
What?
No,
How do you not like lobster?
Lobster's
I
kinda
don't
nice.
like. The only shellfish that I have is prawns.
I'm landlocked and I like lobster.
Ugh. It's too fishy.
Ooh, come up here, man. We
Dude,
got some good lobster.
The farthest north I've been is Maryland because we went to DC.
well, crab. You get crab in Maryland.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We get
Yeah, no.
crab over here, but it's not real crab. It's crab sticks and it's reformed, crabbed, flavored,
I've just searched for next one.
reformed shit.
Florida man caught searching for threatened gopher tortoises to eat. What the fuck?
I'm saying, dude, Florida man's crazy.
Oh,
Oh, it's all one man too. It's all one.
Yeah.
one
If you
dude,
go on
yes,
Twitter,
this is one
if you
guy.
go on Twitter, go on Twitter and follow. There's an account called Florida Man, and it's just daily. Everything just daily tweets about Florida Man and his adventures.
Wow.
So wait, does anyone know what really went down with the whole Area 51 raid, or was it just like
200 people showed up, and Naruto ran around with news crews filming them.
No, there was a festival. There was a music festival.
It was a
Yeah,
music
it-
festival.
for
yeah.
3
Yeah,
days.
that's-
Yeah.
people?
That's basically what it was.
Yeah, it's just a music festival that happened. And
Maybe that was marketing. Maybe that was behind the whole thing. They just wanted to have a music festival, so they just put this little thing up, like this
Kickstarter.
Facebook page, and they actually just wanted to have a music festival the whole
Yeah.
time. I'd believe that.
there was the guy who made the Facebook page was interviewed and everything too. So I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I would get at some point if it becomes another Lollapalooza or Coachella or the Hangout. I would go try it.
Coachella.
Yeah, Coachella
Yeah.
What,
and Lollapalooza.
how?
What do you mean?
What?
How is Area 51 festival going to be
No, no.
Coachella?
No. What I'm saying is there had to
Burning
be
Man?
One
first,
festival is way cooler.
That's what I'm saying. There had to be a first Coachella, so there had to be
Right.
a first Area 51 raid.
Burning Man.
Burning Man.
I don't even know what Burning Man is. That in Nevada?
It's out in
the
the
desert.
Yeah, it's further west of me.
What is the Burning Man? Burning Man.
They have every year now. It could be something different. It might not be a man every year. It started off as like an effigy of a man.
It was like
That
a
they,
witchcraft
made out of
thing, right?
wood.
They burned and they danced around it. Listening
Another
to
thing they took from British.
a bunch of hippies,
Wicker
took
Man.
a bunch of drugs.
Guy Fawkes
Wicker Man.
or Wicker Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also known as Cap. Guy Fawkes.
The bees! The bees! Not the bees! Hopefully nobody okay.
No one gets it. Sorry.
Sorry,
It's
mate.
from the Wicker Man movie with Nicolas Cage, and it's
Not
just
seen it.
ridiculous. You need
The
to
fact
look up
that you
the
even
screen.
watched that.
Nicolas Cage
fact
in
that
is
you
it?
watched
it
that.
I've
Nicolas Cage
only
is in
seen that scene, and that's the funny part is I've only seen that scene.
I could picture Nicolas Cage doing that.
The bees, the bees, and it's exactly how you'd imagine it. And he's like, "Not the bees!" Ah, it's just Nicolas Cage.
it. Cringe, basically.
Caging it up.
I respect the man.
Although Con Air is a bloody good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, except him playing a Southerner. Ugh,
Cringe.
cringe.
Man.
Damn.
Right, gentlemen, it's getting early hours.
Early hours of the morning.
I've got to be up for rugby tomorrow. This has been a very good special. So
Hopefully we didn't go on too long. I hope people made it to the end.
We're
If you
over
made
to
it the end.
We're almost 2 hours. I guarantee it.
If you made it to the end, use the
Maybe more.
keyword sausages in the comments. Just type sausages.
We'll know what it means.
Yeah,
Exactly.
We'll get you're the true OGs.
If you're here, comment sausages. You are an utter legend.
yes, you stuck with that bullshit.
Jay will personally thumbs up each and every comment.
I will.
Jay's like, I do the editing now.
Silence. Yeah.
You just created a new fucking rock.
There you go.
So, guys, this has been episode 9. Wow. Nearly into double figures. I'd just like to say thank you very much to our special guest. It's been amazing. Nick, you know, I got mad love for you, brother. You're a legend. Thank you very much for coming on and entertaining us.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. It was a blast. I learned a lot. I laughed a lot, cried a little.
One tear.
One tear.
One little.
That was
little
tattooed.
Fucking murderer, Nick.
Yeah. And I'll never be back again.
Yeah, we're boycotting him. So, Nick, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/dailyvapetv. I'm also a Twitch streamer. I'm actually a Twitch affiliate now. So you can catch me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/slightlybuzzed. I also have a new channel starting up on YouTube really soon, which is going to feature some Twitch highlights and also some tech videos and reviews. So it's the same name there. I haven't put up any content yet, but it's coming soon. But otherwise, yeah, Daily Vape TV, everything, Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, all that good stuff. And check me out. Yeah, Instagram.
Yeah, so preemptively subscribe to Slightly Buzzed on YouTube. 100%.
Ooh.
Bang.
Anticipation.
Dan, where can everyone find you? What's your name?
There.
You got it.
Yeah, boy.
It's only took you 9 episodes.
It's on the other. It's on the. For me, it's there, but
Yes,
for you lot, it's there. So
Let's hear, yeah.
Dandoumir, Twitch. I'm really trying to start streaming more regularly. Mostly Destiny. Don't ignore that. Anything you want, just on Twitch. Instagram, you know, I've dipped under 500 followers. I'm really upset, but yeah, Dandoumir everywhere pretty much. Pornhub, whatever.
Wow.
Not there.
Stash.
You'll have to go into the solo section.
Amateur.
One man band. Oh, shit. Cap.
I'm on Instagram and Twitter under Cap Stash. It's over here. And you can take out the little underscore there, and that's it. And Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter. Like I said,
Boom.
Boom, boom.
Nice. You can find me on Twitch. I've been doing quite a bit of streaming recently. I've got a few hours under my belt. J_LVC. You can find me on Instagram, which is LVC Shack. You can find me on Facebook, LVC Group. And you can find me on YouTube, Live Vape and Chill. Also, every Sunday, I do a collaboration show with my fellow co-host here today, Nick, and we do the Super Awesome Vape Show, which is a blast. You've got to come over there. You've got to have a look. Also, we are on the big streaming platforms for your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and all that good stuff. And we are literally being distributed everywhere now. It's amazing. We're on these big platforms. So, yeah, please
ourselves out everywhere.
Please follow us. Do whatever it does. You know, we've got to build a following. We've got to do whatever we need to do. You know, but, yeah, we appreciate you taking your time to listen or watch if you're on YouTube. Like, we appreciate it all. We really do. So thank you very much. Any final words, guys?
One day, Dandoumir will be invited on Sebs, but that.
You've been on Savs.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you have.
Oh, accidentally.
But you've been on Savs.
Yeah, maybe.
We'd love to have you, Dan.
That'd be amazing.
Just saying.
One day,
Make him do some weird shit.
maybe.
Vape.
And
He's got
is
a vape Carolina Reapers.
He's got to wax his chest.
Anything.
Boy, mate.
I've already done it. Sorry.
I'm still recovering from that. But, yeah.
Anything for the Savs clout. Anyway.
Guys, thank you very much. It's been an absolute blast to each and every one of you this evening. It's been a real good show. I've enjoyed it. So until the next time.
Peace out, dudes.
See you later.
Bye-bye. Kushti. You.